going to come back in so we can have a couple of discussions. But I'm writing them down because there are some questions that I want to. Again, I look up to you. You drop true wisdom. You give great advice, man, and it's such a compassionate tone. There are some things personally I know I want to share, and then I'm going to be working the room a little bit to see what they're talking about as well.
Okay.
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 So without further ado, welcome, Gracious Greatness. I'm so glad to see you, and I am emailing you back, Gracious Greatness. Thank you so much with your interest with my writing project. Thank you so much. Um, so I'm going to hop on back down into the chat, and without any further ado, the beautiful, the jewel of MX Media Group, our Minister of Compassion, Miss Passionate Bliss.
Hello, good evening, greetings, and salutations to everyone. Courtney, congratulations on your 1 year anniversary. Happy birthday to the Glow Up. Okay, and it's been my pleasure and a privilege to have met you and to hopefully network with you some more when I'm a little more ready. But just to let you guys know a little bit about me, I'm Passionate Bliss. Name is Corinne. I'm a registered nurse. I have been one for 22 years. And I have adult children, and I'm married and divorced. And what happened with me is I've never lived alone. And when my last child, who was 19, went to college, I had to figure out what to do with myself. And I was like, well, what is it I want to do? I have an empty nest, and it's all about me again. No homework, no who you're hanging out with, no, you got your grants and your scholarships. It was all about me. And I said, what is it I want to do now? And so I stepped away as a nurse, a director of nursing, and then I started working at home, and I had more time. And so I felt like that there was a message that I had to give. And I felt like our community was suffering, and that men and women in our Black community were disconnected. And I felt like it was affecting our youth. And it seems like the Black community was spiraling downward. And I realized that the nucleus of that is the man and the woman. And I felt like there was a disconnect because I felt like, hey, I'm amazing, I'm great, And one of my friends told me, you ain't that bad looking, why you ain't got a man? And so I began to look at that, and I felt like there were some things that I needed to say. And I felt like there were some things that we need to say to each other. So I created this t-shirt line. My online store is mypassionatebliss.myshopify.com. And it started out with me just speaking to Black men. As a woman, just speaking to Black men. And but then I realized it was a one-sided conversation. And so I created the male line, and he answers her. So the female line and the male line, they speak to one another. And so whatever, she talks about, he has to answer her. And so the first thing in my line, and I have 4 phases. They represent the different stages of our development. When you're young and you're sassy, when you're getting a little bit older, when you're, very mature, and when you become into that real king and queen stage. And so I started out with the emotions line. This one is just emotions. It's only going to be one word. She says she's asking for love, and he's telling her he's on her team. This says hashtag Team Black Love. So that's my first line of all the phases. Okay. And so because I feel like my t-shirt line was the best way that it's not just some chick on YouTube talking to a few hundred people that she can reach, because this, I feel like it's going to spread outside of my home, outside of my head, into the community. Because when I wear this shirt, every time I go out, somebody says something to me about it. So my sister has shirts that she says she's never gone out that a man didn't say something to her about what was on there. Because the first one that I made was I Decide. Because I had had so many not bad relationships, I just wasn't getting what I needed. And I would have men tell me, you're never going to get what you want from a man. I would have men tell me that these other women not asking for everything that you're asking for. And the only thing I was asking for really was time. And because I don't need to be taken care of. I'm a registered nurse. So I didn't need nobody to take care of me, and so what I needed was time and attention, and I needed love and affection. And I felt like a lot of the men that I was meeting, they talk too rough, and so the first t-shirt that I designed, and these are all based on me, not that I'm self-absorbed, but this is all based on me. This is actually my face. My daughter's a graphic design artist, so I sent her a picture of my face. If you notice, this is my jaw and my mouth. So I sent her a picture of my face, and so she made it. And I said, I said the first T-shirt that said I Decide, because my message to men, okay, to the Black man was, I decide how I'm going to be treated. I'm going to decide how I'm going to be loved. I decide how I'm going to be respected. I decide, not you. You don't get to treat me how you feel like treating me. I decide. And so that was my first T-shirt that I made. And so I said, yeah, my daughter's 25, and my son is 19. And so, I'm 48. I'm 48. I'm darn near 50. I'm an elder in the community, okay? so, and so, um, and so I wore that T-shirt, because I'd had a recent breakup with somebody. I thought he was the love of my life, and we had a breakup. And I said, but he wanted to talk to me rough and curse at me, and tell me, you're greedy ass or you're this ass or whatever. I was like, no, you can't talk to me about my ass. You can't curse at me. I don't allow men to curse at me. And so he felt like he was walking on eggshells. And I said, no, you don't get to decide how to talk to me and how to treat me. And he quit for like 3 or 6 months. 3 to 6 months, long enough for me to fall in love. And then he started doing it again. I was like, no, you're not going to condition me, because I'm deciding, not you. My daddy don't curse at me. You're not going to curse at me. And so it started out, me wanting to talk to not just him, because everything between us had been said, but I want to talk to all of you. Okay, because this is a conversation I had to have. I had to have a lot with men. Don't talk to me like that. I don't let men curse at me. And I would say, that's the second time you've done that. Don't make it to 3. And so because I decide. So that was my first shirt. It was this mouth right here, and it said I decide. And when I would wear it out, and because I was getting into mode to continue to design. And so the first time I wore it out, some guy at the gas station said to me, well, what's the decision? I said, what? I forgot I had the shirt on. And he said, well, what's the decision? You say you're going to decide, so what's the decision? I said, oh, well, I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, I'm going to be deciding it. And so every time I noticed every time I would wear it, I would get a comment. And then I started putting other things on the shirts, and I would get a comment back. And so, and this line is never ending. I will always be, this is just emotions line, but there's the King's line, the Queen's line, there's Natural Girl, which is my phase of life that I'm in now, is natural. And this is less than what, 3 months that I've been natural. Because if you look at my YouTube channel, which is Passionate Bliss, you'll see me with the weave all over the place, flowing, and so I let go of that, mostly because of COVID. And then I realized, that I didn't feel like I was as attractive as I was before. I didn't feel like I was cute anymore. And so it took me a while, because I haven't recorded. This is my first time recording in months, because I was not comfortable with how I looked with my natural hair. And so at this phase of my life, I'm in my natural girl phase. And so, I'll be coming up with that line, and you can start ordering them. The more I try to make them not over $20, $22 at the max. But, so you can order them at any time. Store's always open. But, so that's when I started, because I felt like there was a disconnect between us. I felt like we didn't know how to love each other anymore. And I felt like we have to address it, because it's not only just affecting us, but it's affecting our children. The way these young men and these raps and these women talk to each other is deplorable. It is disgusting. And I feel like we bear some kind of culpability, especially me being 48, almost 50, if you don't say anything. Because it used to be, it takes a village to raise a child. And, I'm in a small town. My dad's a minister. And so if I was someplace all over on the side of town, by the time I got home, my dad would be like, what were you doing down there on Land's End Road? I was like, what? They had to report to my dad I had been to Land's End Road, because that was the village. The village was working back then. And so we stayed out of trouble. And I felt like the village has been told to mind their business. The village has been told, to, get out my face. The village has been told, don't touch my child, and the village has been told, all kind of things. And so the village got quiet. And I feel like because the village got quiet, it's run amok. And I felt like the village needs to start talking again. The village needs to, start raising our children and building our community back again. And that starts with the nucleus of the black community, the black man and the black woman. And so that's the purpose of my line, for us to start talking, for us to reconnect. And, there has been a disconnect, because we got 72% of our children being raised in single parent homes. We're not together. The young men, aren't knowing how to talk to us, because the dad wasn't there. He didn't have a role model. The young ladies are tolerating men calling them, bitches and hoes and, and whatnot, because their dad wasn't there to show them, to model for them, you know, you don't talk to women like that. Because that's what I've told more women, you know, my daddy don't talk to me like that. You're not going to talk to me like that. And because I had him there, you know, my parents have been married for what, 50, oh gosh, 55, 54, 55 years. And, you know, and he's never, you know, cursed at her or talked to her like that. And so, but a lot of our children, the dad wasn't there. So not only did he not model it for his son, but his daughter didn't see, no, you don't let him talk to you like that. So a lot of it is missing. And I feel that if, as, you know, village elders, we don't start talking and we don't start saying, no, you don't get to decide how I'm treated. You know, if we don't teach our daughters that and we don't teach our sons that, then we bear a certain level of responsibility for the condition of our community, for, you know, what we see on the rap videos, what we hear in the songs. We bear a certain level of responsibility. And I felt like we need to speak, and to start speaking again. And that's the purpose of my channel. That's the purpose of my t-shirt line, is for us to start talking again, because the black men and women have to reconnect. And I feel like right now, at this point in history, we are having a reawakening, because we are at the point where we're, you know, on social media platforms, and we're in our communities, you know, and we're saying, hey, you know, we're calling out people who are colorists now. You know, we're calling out people who are, you know, brutalizing us in the police department. They were rioting about it because we were just tired of it. We were in an age of awakening as a community. You know, we're at a point where we're acknowledging that our melanin is magic. And we recognize culture vultures, you know, stealing from us. And so, you know, we have more entrepreneurship and more education than ever now. And so I felt like, you know, this is a time that we're waking up, and we need to start talking, and we need to start, you know, saying things, you know, to each other. And, you know, I feel like, you know, we need to recognize that we do need each other. Because, yeah, I hear young women say, I don't need a man. Yes, you do need a man. We were designed to be together, anatomically, you know, emotionally. You know, we were designed to be together. We do need each other. You do need a man. Yes, you do. And you do need a woman. And so, you know, we have to erase a lot of stuff that has been implanted, embedded into us, you know, because together we're invincible. And the foundation, like I said, is the black man and the black woman. And we have to start talking. One of the first things we need to do, we have to stop fighting each other and stop blaming each other, you know, because I've said that, you know, the black man hasn't been there, the black woman's been carrying, you know, black community on their back, you know. We have to stop blaming them and attacking the black man for not being there. Okay. We have to, and black men say, oh, black women don't listen, they too strong, you can't talk to them, you can't tell them nothing. You know, we have to stop attacking each other and blaming each other and start the dialogue. We have to acknowledge that's the case in a lot of cases. You know, but we have to be willing to move past it into solution phase. And if you issue an apology, I'll issue an apology, you know, whatever. You know, because I have, and whatever it takes to get past to the point where we're willing to problem solve, and we're willing to work on doing better and being better. We can do that, but it has to start with dialogue. And for me, this is the way for it to leave out my house, out my head, you know, out of my store. This is a way for me to put it in the community. I can reach more people, you know, walking around with these shirts on, saying, hey, what's the decision? You say you decide, and what's the decision? You know, and so you know, so that's part of my mission. It's not just a business. It's not just, you know, me selling t-shirts. It's, I feel like, a part of my mission, a part of my goal. My children, I feel like, you know, both went to college. I feel like, you know, they're responsible adults. They're contributing to society. And so I feel like since they're gone now, I need to go beyond them. And this was my way to do it. So this is my mission. And so I'm happy that, you know, I was invited here today to speak with all of you and to share my mission. And you know, I have on my channel, I have hundreds of videos on my channel. I try to keep it 5 minutes or less because people are busy, their attention span is short, and also I don't know how to go live, so I hope that Courtney can help me learn how to go live. You know, and not only do I just say, hey, this is the problem, this is the problem, this is the problem, because I see a lot of people doing it, and they say, black women are Hudson's sluts and hoes. They shouldn't dress like this. They shouldn't talk like that. Black men should take care of their families, should pay their child support. And I hear the accusations, but what I don't hear is solutions. And so me, personally, and on my channel, I feel like we lost the tools to know how to be together. We lost, the tools. We don't know how, because they said, why can't black men do this, do that? I think they don't remember how, because the dads have been gone. Because like my stats, this was a 1998 census that my stats come from, and it covers a 48-year span. And let me give you my stats. Okay, in that 48-year span, 72% of black children are raised in a single parent home. Okay, black women who never married, from 1951, it went from 21% to 1998, 41%. Okay, so that's what's happened to us in the past 48 years. Black couples who do marry, 48% in the divorce now. Let's see, what is it? Black youth in the juvenile system went from 15% to 40%. So it's trickled down to our children. And, I feel like we need to address it, and with this age of awakening and us saying, I don't want to hear this anymore. And us saying, let's start. We need to start with the tools. And so that's what I focus on a lot. I focus on, tools to rebuild us and tools to help us communicate better. And so that's my mission and that's my goal, and that's where I'm actually coming from. So I'm happy to be here tonight and to meet you all and to hear what you have to say. So I do want to acknowledge you guys in the room. Nice to meet you. I see ghap.g. You have a wrench as well. Let's see, gracious 8. Let me see, gracious greatness wants us to be reconciled. We all do, and I think we all want to be reconciled, but I feel like we've forgotten how. And we've been apart so long, with 72% from 1950 to 1998. We've been apart so long, I think we have forgotten how. And we just need to be reminded, and we need to start practicing it again. And I feel like we can do that. I think we've just forgotten. And you feel like it's schemes of the enemy. I do. I agree, gracious greatness. I do believe that it is schemes of the enemy. And it's been successful. It's succeeded. And we do seem fragmented and ostracized. But the thing is that I feel like with us awakening and saying we've had enough, especially with the riots and the looting and everything, it's us saying, look, we've had enough. And I felt like I wasn't really mad so much at the rioting, or even the looting at first, because usually them losing money is all they care about. But at some point I was like, okay, now y'all just stealing. Okay, because I was okay with them burning down the police station and the courthouse. Well, y'all start going to the store, coming out with TVs. Okay, now y'all just stealing, And so, but I felt like they didn't have a direction. Nobody was directing them, how to escalate appropriately. And I did a video on that on my channel as well. And so, yeah, it's outside forces that deliberately have tried to separate us because we're so powerful together. But it's been happening for so long systematically that I feel like we have truly forgotten how. There are black women who think they don't need a black man, and they do. They do. Some of our black men don't know how beautiful they are, how precious and valuable they are, how much we love them and need them and want them. Some of them don't know that. And we have to remind them, I think. And I think that especially as I consider myself a village elder, I think we have an obligation to try. Even if nobody hears you, if you fail, you've got to try. You have to, you have to be able to say to yourself, I did something. I tried. I played a part. And I feel like, part of my obligation was met with my own children. I did that for them. But I also feel like I can go outside and do more now that I have the time. Okay? And so, there's no blaming. Because, because people are like, oh, black women this, black men that. Okay, I acknowledge that, I acknowledge the state of things, but now let's fix it. And I feel like, there are tools available to us, and I share those tools on my videos, on my channel. I share them. And so, we know there's an enemy who wants to destroy us because we are so powerful. They're afraid, but we just have to, yes, acknowledge that, and then go on to proceed to talk about how to get around that and how to get past them and how to thwart them and make sure that they fail. But it has to start with dialogue. We have to talk without accusations. What can we do to come together? Well, like I said, there has to be that dialogue. Especially with starting over, one of the things you have to do is be prepared to be honest. Be prepared to um, to know that, it's not your fault. A lot of us, especially people who are really toxic, um, or abusive, they're putting that out because somebody put that in them. And you want to acknowledge their pain. And I've said too before, on my platform, I said, you know what, I'm sorry that, if your mother wasn't there for you, if your father wasn't there, if your grandma, aunties, whoever, they didn't protect you, from the ugly things in life. My parents did a great job. I resented it at the time. I wanted about my business, but they were very protective, and we were sheltered a lot. And so I feel like a lot of people didn't get that, and that's why they okay with calling women bitches and hoes. They didn't get that, and so what we have to show them that there's another way, and it starts with dialogue, and tell them, it's not your fault, and I'm sorry that happened. I want to apologize, because I said to somebody before, I want to apologize in behalf of your mother that wasn't there. Will you accept my apology for her? Please let me. I'm apologizing for her. Accept my apology for her. And then because he was like, black women are bitches, they ain't no queens, y'all not no queens. And he was coming at me, and I said, I want to apologize. Will you accept my apology on her behalf? And then he got quiet, and he said yes. And so I feel like, we need to not just say this is the problem, it's the problem, it's the problem, it's the problem. If we want to acknowledge the problem, acknowledge the pain, acknowledge that black women have felt abandoned, acknowledge that black men have been emasculated by society, acknowledge that they are a target when they walk out the door. We want to acknowledge that, and then say, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. And I want to be here for you. Will you let me be here for you? And I feel like, they can be reconciled to us. We can be reconciled to each other, and I want that, I want that for us. And I think we have the tools at our disposal if we're just willing to do it. And we just have to be willing to do that. We have to be resilient, okay? And it doesn't matter, because even with us in relationships, they fail. We realize, because I like the sister that was on the other day. She said that your cutting them off game has to be strong. Mine is that, it's become a joke with my friends. Sometimes, I'll cut them out. They're ridiculous. I give them 3 times. I'll say, okay, this is the 3rd time that you've done that. I need you to go ahead on, And so we do have to let people know how to treat us and not to tolerate certain things. And it looks like, because a lot of times people hang in there because it's like, oh, you got to fight for your relationship. Okay, you do have to, adjust to meeting a new person. It should not take you having a complete personality overhaul to make a relationship last. And if he's just abusive, he's got to go. He's got to go. And it's okay, because people like say, oh, you can't keep a man. It's okay if you fail. It's okay if that relationship failed. It's okay if you fall down. It doesn't matter how many times you fall down. Get up. Get up. It doesn't matter how many times you fall down. It matters how many times you get up and you keep going. And we have to keep trying. We can't give up on each other. Like, people will say, oh, they're dating outside of their relationship and all this kind of stuff. But we can't give up on each other because we're so magical together. So we really can't give up on each other, especially, who's that? Koja Malik. We've interviewed the oppressor, okay, and chosen many of his ways, yes. And that Kojak was made evident to me when I took my weaves out, because my weave was down to my tailbone, longer the better, And so, and I didn't realize that, because I've always known, our skin is divine, our lips are the most beautiful, that we're the most attractive. I've always known that we were the most beautiful people on this planet. And so I've never doubted that. But I didn't realize that there was that European standard still in me until I took that weave out. That, taking my weave out, was a revelation. I didn't think I was cute anymore. It was a false sense of glamour. And I hadn't realized how much I was, my diet was bad. I was drinking too much. I was, staying up too late, and all these things. I wasn't exercising. Because I had that false sense of glamour, I could, flip that hair around and, I'd be turning heads and everything, And so, that standard that didn't belong to my culture, I didn't realize how deeply ingrained it was until COVID came. I couldn't go to my hairdresser and get a weave. That's the only reason I took my weave out. I couldn't get one. And so I was like, okay, well, let me try this natural hair thing. And then, I took it out, and I thought it wasn't cute anymore. I really didn't. And, and so I didn't film. I remember I was telling Courtney, she was saying, well, where are you? I haven't seen your videos. I was like, I'm not comfortable with the way I look with my hair this way. and I really wasn't recording videos because I didn't think I was cute on here. You know, not that you have to be cute to be on here, because everybody on here ain't cute. Well, but as long as you think you're cute, you ain't nobody got to think you're cute. As long as you think you're cute, that's all that matters. Okay, and so but I just didn't realize how much a part of my own standard of beauty was adopted from that culture, and so I'm finally used to it. I got the mohawk going. I like my little mohawk. The guy I'm dating, he loves my mohawk too, because I think I missed a barber's appointment. He said, you go to the barber. I said, no, I didn't go to the barber. He said, so what, are you giving up on the mohawk? And I was like, no, I just slept in and missed my barber's appointment. I was like, you like the mohawk? He was like, yeah, I love the mohawk. And so I'm really surprised. I have been really surprised at how many compliments I get on my natural hair and my mohawk. I'm gonna be really excited when it gets long and whatnot. But but yeah. So so that was a revelation to me. We have been very impacted, sometimes even in ways that we don't recognize how much we've been impacted by that European standard, and them imposing themselves on us. And so Gracious saying embrace therapy. I believe in that. Counseling and healing for the right types of counselors. Yes, I believe in that. Professional help is necessary. Mental health is one of the things that we often neglect, and we don't want to get help. And I hear people say, just go to church and pray. It's not mental health. It's not mental health. And because I'm a nurse, I believe in pharmacology. If there's a pill out there to get you to quit from acting crazy, you take the pill instead of forcing your crazy on us. Because the thing is that, we have, a lot of medications restore chemical imbalance in your brain, because we live in difficult times, hard to deal with. And a lot of people, will acknowledge that, oh yeah, stress can cause you to have a heart attack. Oh yeah, stress can cause you to have a stroke. Oh yeah, stress can cause you to, have ulcers in your stomach. But they don't want to accept, for some reason, especially in our community, that stress can cause a chemical imbalance in your brain. And the medication, its job is to restore the chemical balance. And so I do want, us to work on ourselves overall, But for one thing, it requires you to be honest. A lot of people do not want to look at themselves and be honest. Am I petty? They don't want to look at themselves and say, yeah, I'm petty. Am I selfish? They don't look at themselves. Am I abusive? They don't want to look at themselves. Am I, inappropriate? Am I, they don't want to look at themselves. And it does require us to be honest, because if you're nasty, if you're abusive, and you want people to, because the guy that I told, quit cursing at me. He said, you got to take, and I said, that's the only thing I don't love about you. I love everything about you. There's nothing about you I don't love, except I can't take you cursing at me like that. He was like, well, you have to take the good with the bad. And I was like, no, I don't. Actually, I don't. And so, but we have to.
One moment, you are really cooking such passionate. Thank you so much. But I did want to respond to a couple of people, because I know that we have a lot of questions coming in this chat. Like I said, I'm in the chat
You
stream.
do?
There are a lot of questions coming in. So first of all, welcome NC Worker. So glad you could catch us tonight. Grace's Greatness has been asking some really great questions, and speaking about mental health, which is something that we discussed as well. We've been discussing. So Sunshine Smile, she had actually asked it a couple of minutes ago, and when I hopped on, I was going to ask it then, but I didn't want to interrupt too much. But she wanted to know. She said she wanted to know if you only dated black men, and if that was a part of maybe limiting options because of only dating black men. So I would love to hear your feedback in regards to that. I have plenty to say about the hair thing, because I remember one of my earlier lives, and I don't even think it was a live, and I remember we were talking about natural hair, and I used to be also very addicted to weed, and I remember you were saying, well, I can just put on I put on my hair and go with as low maintenance. I said, child, mine is low maintenance as it gets. I don't do I get into the shower and I let it, and it's even better. So and I definitely know I definitely heard you loud when you have fake hair, you get fake dudes. And it also brought me back home because my ex-husband, though, like I said, he was very much he was a resource. He was a resourceful man. He was a provider. Never beat, never cheat on me, anything like that. But he absolutely did not want to see me with natural hair. He said he did not want to be with it. He called natural hair ladies coffee house chicks. He said I don't. He said that's not who I was attracted to because when we were dating, when we first met, I had a bob, and then that bob was the shortest he ever saw my hair up until I think our second or third year of marriage. I got that knee long cut, and I felt so uncomfortable because I hadn't seen my own hair in years. I had not worn my natural hair in years. But I do want to talk about that and how important it is to feel attractive when you're dating. I do know that me being more into the fitness component has definitely aided in that. So I can still feel very attractive even though I don't have the hair anymore. I can feel like, well, I have the best body, that I've had. But it does do something to your psyche when you know that, hey, just putting 20 inches of anything, these guys are going to be looking. And I didn't even never do makeup that heavy, but just having the hair was a different story. Got it. Okay, so yeah, I would like you to, if you wouldn't mind, just addressing, does dating only black men, does that limit us? Okay, so we're going to start there, and then we have two other questions that were up in the chat. So, yeah, don't worry about reading the chat. I will do that for you so that you can stay focused on the panel, because that becomes really hard. If you're trying to jump in the chat, it becomes hard. So that's why this works best with us. We're tag teaming here.
Okay.
So there are a couple other questions I wanted to bring up, but that is the first one. For should we be looking at dating out to the other races? Should we be more open to that as black women?
As black women, honestly, I feel like we should be. And this is where I have a double standard. I'm okay with black women doing it, but not black men. You all black men have no excuses because we are out here dying and thirsty and carrying on acting a fool for a black man. So y'all don't have no excuse. We outnumber y'all 10-1. Y'all have no excuse. I'm not pardoning black men, but black women, I give them a pass. My daughter is actually married to a white man. I have dated a white man. I dated one once because I started listening to it. I was like, God dog, I'm tired of sitting on my couch with this martini every night. And the white man come for you, honey. Let me tell you. The white man I was like, well, this white man got some good game here, and so and they're very generous. They will spend lots of money on you. So I dated one white guy. He was very generous. If I even looked like I wanted something, he was buying it. And because once he said, you like that? I was like, no. One time I said no, so that he wouldn't buy it. He was spending money on my son and everything, and so, get these Timberlands for your son. And then, and so I was with him. I was only with him for a couple of weeks and never got physical, but I just missed black men. I missed the flavor of a black man. I missed that, understanding. There's unspoken understanding that exists between us, that we know what's what, and because I know my sister dated a white man once, and this was back in the day when something popped off with Denny's. The Denny's was being sued for being racist or whatever. He was like, well, maybe they were busy, he was making all these excuses, and I was like, no, they were racist, and that's why they're getting sued, and so my thing is that when you're with another black person, we understand. I didn't question those black people in that Denny's restaurant. If they said people were racist, I understand and I believe that. No explanations, no excuses, and so I miss that unspoken understanding of what our experience in this world is like. To wear this skin, to have people lock their car door because you walk by, to have old white ladies clutching their purse close in the elevator because you got on, to have somebody, when you go to touch them, they recoil, because I'm a nurse and I would have to, I got to start an IV on you. I got to touch your arm, white lady, and have them recoil because you touched them, and so to know what that feels like, what that does to your psyche, to know, what it's like to wear this skin day in and day out, and have people will pretend as if you're inferior when you know good and full well you're not, and we are. To me, I could never be the white man because I need that unspoken understanding. I need to know. I need to know that when I come home, I'm coming home to somebody who um, has experienced and understands what this skin means and what it's like to wear this skin. I need that. Also, when I dated the white guy, their culture is very different from ours. Because black people, we clown and we joke. We have spent centuries laughing to get through the pain, and white people don't understand that. They're very serious, and they said the other day, "Oh, you're so silly." No, I'm not. Because we as a culture, we're used to laughing to get through the pain. Like I put a video on my site about the coronavirus. There's a video about the black guys who made a rap about the coronavirus when everybody was scared and everything, and they were clowning about the coronavirus. Because we've always laughed to get through the pain, and that laughter and that natural inclination to make a quick little joke. I miss that, and I felt like I was at work all the time, because as a professional, I was director of nursing for many years. As a professional, you wear a certain face, to work, and then when you get home, you relax, and so I when I was with him, I felt like I was at work, or we'd be like, "You're so silly," or whatever. I said, "No, I'm not. I'm freaking clowning," And so our sense of humor has always carried us, and so I missed that. It never even got to being physical. And so I told him, I said, "Listen, I'm seeing somebody else." I wasn't. I just didn't want to see him anymore, because I missed black men, that beautiful skin, that charm that they have. The melanin is magic, it's hypnotizing. I don't blame the other races of women that want black men. We got the best man. We already know that. I give a black man his props all day and all night. We got the best man. They are, magnificent. That's why the other races running behind them, they are magnificent. And so I give it to them all day long. But I attempted it, and I did not enjoy it. But if I see another woman with a white man or any other race of man, have at it. I understand, because you're tired of sitting alone on that couch. You're tired of being by yourself. You're tired of begging for respect, attention, whatever. So I don't blame them. My daughter got a white husband. I don't actually blame her. But if you but I told my son, "Don't you bring no white woman in this door. We ain't doing that." Because I've always felt like, well, I never did get to have a good black man. So even though I'm divorced, he wasn't no good black man. But I never did get to have a good black man, so I'm gonna raise one. And I said, I'll be goddamn darned if I break my back raising you to be a good black man and you bring a white lady in this door. I don't think so. That's not what we doing here. He was like, "My sister got a white husband." I was like, "She ain't you. She's not you." and so I do have a double standard on that. I'm going to admit that. I'm going to own that, and if you don't, then you're a better person than me, and I'm going to give you that too. but yeah, I'm not against us open up the borders, because we're tired of being alone. You know, that's that. That's that on that. So yeah. But yeah, I used to call the natural hair girls. I used to call them the nappy hair girls, because my sister went natural before I did, and she would be like, "Oh, you still got the white man's conditioning you to wear your hair like that." I said, "No, he's not. I like my hair like this. I look fabulous." So I said, "I ain't got nothing to do with the white man. I don't want to be white. You couldn't pay me to be white. My lips are divine. My skin is amazing. And so I didn't realize that I was still hanging on to that. And I felt like, I said the nappy head girls seem like they turned mean. They want to judge my blackness because they took their perm out. If they're gonna be mean, then y'all need to put y'all perm back in." That's what I said. I want the nappy head girls to put their perm back. I used to call them nappy head girls, and so until I gave it up and I realized, these are curls, and we just have to learn how to manage our curls. Because I always said, I got that African hair. It's coarse and it's thick and it's hard to comb, But the thing is that I wasn't prepared. I had never been, trained to take care of my natural hair, and so I've had to learn that. It has to be moisturized and oiled, and it's soft. My hair is soft, because that's what my guy, he was saying, "I can't wait to run my hair through your mohawk again." And so he loves the mohawk, but because it's soft, it's curly and it's soft. These are curls. It's not naps. These are curls that we were not conditioned or even raised to take care of. We were told to lay them down, you know, um, get that kitchen straightened out. And so, you know, I had to learn to appreciate it. And I love my natural hair. I love these curls, and and my guy loves them too. So, that's where I'm at with that.
Okay, so we had a question, sis, passionate. Thank you so much. We are really rocking. We are hour in. You guys put those glowers up if y'all are still in here and y'all are still in this conversation. I am loving the engagement, especially about being honest. Thank you. Okay, so Sister Naima Saunders says she wanted to ask you, her boyfriend is white, and what advice would you give her to tell her black friends that she still loves the black brothers with with everything that's going on? How does she address that conversation? I definitely have some thoughts, but I'm going to yield the mic to you first, sister, because I know this was the topic that we were on right before, and you were cooking with your own relationship experiences. Because I've never dated a white man. I've gone out on dates, but I've never, there's never been a series of dating. The last, white boy that I think I ever even had some type of consistent relationship with was when I was in eighth grade, and I had a conversation with my dad, and my dad told me something, and I held on to that for me.
Okay, I kind of lost your voice. You were saying your dad told you something. But yeah, I did want to ask Naima's question, answer her question. And it's funny because Naima, I thought that this was like a couple of years ago, and I really thought that nobody cared about interracial couples anymore. But I was surprised when I went out with the white guy on the dates, how many people stared at us. I was like, why are you looking at us? Because I didn't see interracial couples anymore, but they still were staring at us and they were looking at us, and I was like, oh my gosh, they still stare at us. And then a couple of people came up to us and said things, who were in interracial relationships. They felt okay to say things to us, and he was like, oh, you're such like this one guy. He's like, you guys are such an inspiration to me, because we're both older. So I guess the assumption was that we had been together a long time, and we hadn't. And he was younger. He said, "You guys are such an inspiration to me, because he's like, my boyfriend, he's black, and my parents don't like him, and they don't want us together, and and this, that, and the other, and you guys are such an inspiration to us." And I say, what the thing about this is that they're not living your life. You are. You have to live your own life. You can't live their life for them. They made their choices. These are your choices, and that's just me in general talking. But I was on a date. I didn't think I dated him maybe a total of 2 or 3 weeks. But people felt comfortable to come to us and say things. So that was interesting to me, when I dated him for those few weeks that I dated him. And uh but the thing about it is that, for your black friends, Naima, they have to understand that, look, I'm still black and I still wear this skin. This is just who loved me first. Okay. This is the person that loved me first. I love who loved me. Okay, he loved me first. If a black man had loved me first, I would have been with a black man. That does not mean I don't love black people. That doesn't mean I don't love my black skin. Doesn't mean I don't love black people. Doesn't mean I don't love, my community and my culture. This is just who loved me first. If a black man had loved me first, it would have been him. But it wasn't. It just wasn't. And like I said, I'm tired of sitting on that couch with my martini glass and potato chips, watching the Game of Thrones. I would love to be cuddled up with somebody, or going out to dinner or whatever, socializing. But and if I hadn't felt that distance between our cultures, I would have stayed with him. The man treated me great. My son told me, when I told my son I stopped seeing him, my son was like, what? Because he was 14 or 15. He was like, don't you ever break up with anybody again without telling me. He was like, you only got about 5 more years to look good. You got to stop dumping these guys. He was just mad because the man was buying him Timberlands and treating me so good. He was like, what? You broke up with him? Why did you break up with him? So, but the guy treated me good. I can't complain about how he treated me. I cannot complain. And he told me how wonderful he thought I was all the time. He told me, this is the best time I've ever had. This is the best dates I've ever been on in my entire life. I'm so glad you came out with me. The guy was totally, but he didn't do anything to me. And if I was able to get past, the cultural blocks and still my yearning for the black man. That's what I want. You know, I would have stayed with him. He did nothing to me. The guy was excellent. But and so that's what I would say. I would say this is just who loved me first. You know, and I still love myself, my skin, my people, each other. This is just who loved me first, and he treats me great, and I love him back. So that I'm not apologizing for. And but yeah, I'm still on y'all side. I'm still on y'all same team. So that's the best I could say. Naima, this is just who loved me first, and I loved him back, and I'm good with that. Um, okay, so anything else? Anybody else want to come? Anybody else? Y'all can jump up here now and talk. It doesn't have to be just me because I can talk forever, but it doesn't just have to be me. You guys can come on up. Okay, right, Brother Bakari. Um, hey, Brother Bakari, you had a live, and then Cocoa Butter Barbie. Um, you said that makes sense to you as a black parent. And your daddy said nobody. Yeah, because the thing is that I wasn't raised to with any prejudice. I want everybody to live well and live long and prosper. I would like the white ladies to date their own men because we don't want, for the most part, we don't want y'all men. Keep them, and we don't have enough to share with y'all. Okay, so keep them white men. And leave our men alone because we want them. But the thing is that um uh I don't know. I don't know. And I have certain thoughts about why people date interracially, um, that I have to revise from time to time. But I'll lay off that for now. Hey Naima, welcome. Hi Anthony Taylor, good evening. I'm trying to hear is I was trying to hear Naima. Can you guys hear Naima? Koja Malik. Okay, Courtney's gonna send out the link. I'm the yapper for tonight. I'm doing the yapping, and Courtney's gonna send out the links and stuff. But yeah, that's basically we were talking about black love and reconnecting and how to do it, and also someone brought up should we close ourselves off to other races? And I'm biased. I'm partial to black people. I think black people are amazing. They're magic. They're melanin. It's just outstanding, and all shades and colors. And I feel like we are coming to a point as a people of a spiritual awakening, a place where we recognize our value and our worth and the beauty, all shades and colors, and we're demanding that police stop killing us. We're making demands now, and so we're at a part of awakening. And I think we need more tools as to how to appropriately awaken, reconnect, and also as far as the police brutality goes, how to appropriately escalate. And so that's why I feel like the time is now, and that's why I started my clothing line, and I'm gonna branch out, not just t-shirts. I'm gonna do dresses and skirts, and I got jewelry and everything on there. It's all on my site, passionatebliss.com. No, mypassionatebliss.shopify. mypassionatebliss.myshopify.com. And my channel is Passionate Bliss as well. And so that's the purpose. It's my mission is not just I'm not just selling t-shirts or peddling t-shirts or whatever, but this is just the beginning phase of my mission and my channel. My goal is to help my community. My goal is to become a village elder that is speaking again, because the village has been silent for too long, and it has shown the decline of the standards in our community. And that's my goal and my mission is to build our community, strengthen our community, back to a place that we can respect. And so yeah, that was my goal on YouTube, and my goal with my clothing line, and my goal with you know, with this second phase of my life.
Okay, so I am going to be on this side of the game just in order to better connect as I'm moving throughout, so I'm not sitting in front of the laptop. But I did grab a couple more questions. Okay, so I have a recent thing that happened that I wanted to share with you. And again, everybody, keep those questions coming because I'm multi over here with it. I'm all over all these streams. And the link is dropped, so please feel free if you have anything you want to ask to the lovely Miss Passionate Bliss. We're gonna give you the due time, and we're gonna see how this next phase. Now that we've dropped the link, how it carries over. We want to give you guys at least another half. Okay, so again, I have a I had this question earlier, but it wasn't you couldn't hear it, so it was good that I have to come back and ask it. So I feel like I'm open to actually dating outside. I feel like I am, but I never really white dudes don't come for me. And one white dude actually, I used to work out. I used to work in the gym, and I used to work out in the same gym. I had a workout partner that was somebody from the floor. He wasn't a part of the staff. And this was years ago. And so I can't really I don't know if I've grown since then or how I've grown up since then. But back then he told me, and this was years ago, this was about 5 years ago. But back then he told me, he said that I was kind of too layered. Like I was, you would expect that I was one way and then I was another way. And you know what? Me in this particular, we were ended up working together at another, because I was a vendor at a farmer's market, and he also he was a vending assistant at the market. And so I ran into him years after that statement. But I remember from that statement, we stopped being kind of cool working out together. And
He said he thought that you were what? I'm sorry, I missed it. He thought you were what?
He said I was too layered. He said that he
Layered.
was expecting me. Yeah, he said that he was expecting me to be one way. So I took it to mean that he felt I was complicated. Like, okay, all right. So, like, I don't have a problem. I love Nirvana. I'm with my Bon Jovi. Billy Joe. Literally, Bon Jovi is the only celebrity I've ever met that I got tongue tied over. And I've met a lot of celebrities, but I love Bruce Springsteen. I grew up just knowing and appreciating like white culture. I do, and I think that I do it so much to the point that people aren't expecting for me to really have these views that are very pro-black. They aren't expecting that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember one time he told me, I was too pretty to think like that, and I was like to think like, because I think at this point in time, I was talking about, because I used to be an intake clerk, and so I worked with a lot of people that did not need the assistance but were abusing the system. But I knew far well that there were more people that were not black doing the same thing, and so I had invited him to an event, and he was he told me, he called me, he like circled the block. Because I'm a publicist, so he was circling the block. It was at an art gallery. Now imagine a art gallery, a black art gallery, and he called me, and he circled the block. He said, "Courtney, there are a lot of black people going in there." And I said, "It's a black art gallery. Of course, there are going to be a lot of black people going in." And he says, "Well, I don't want to feel like I'm the only white boy in there, you know." And I said, "Let me ask you this." I said, "Let me ask you this. How many times have you gone to some places?" Because he was like I said, he was a vendor, so he had gigs on Star Island, which is a very exclusive community in Miami. Very rich celebrity, that sort of thing. And so I said, "How many times have you been in at an event and there was only one black person there?" And he said, "Oh, there have been plenty." And I said, "So how do you think that he felt?" I said, "Do you think that he would have more of do you think that person would be more scared that he's the only black person in a place where there are all white people that have the history of violence against them, or against, are you being in the midst of a black, in the midst of a black party, and there isn't that type of there has never been. And he said, so what are you implying? Are you saying that that black people don't have oh my gosh, let me get the term right because it blew my mind past me. He said, are you telling that black people do not have a propensity to steal? And I said, well, what are we talking about stealing? Because we're talking about stealing land, stealing bodies, stealing labor. Then, I'm going to tell you that no, black people don't have that type of propensity to steal.
Y'all gotta be.
And that's what he said, you're too pretty to think like that. So, so of course, again, I don't want to generalize because we don't like to be generalized. So I didn't want to generalize. So I didn't want to be like, okay, well, all women think that way. But I thought that it was very interesting that he was literally, like, we worked out together pretty often. He would meet me after work and we would work out together. And sometimes he would take me home. And there was never anything physical between us, but we had such really great conversations that I was just like, wow, to just think that a couple of weeks ago I was thinking, wow, I may be able to be pretty cool with this idea. But this dude let me in to how he's thinking, and it blew my mind that he would say something that was just so incredibly not only racist but really insensitive, and then just ignorant to say that he was afraid of going into this black art gallery. Like I said, do you see what type of cars are pulling up here? So you really think they're gonna be looking at you and thinking I'm gonna pick this guy's pocket, or I was just like, it was the same museum, not museum, it's the same gallery where Betty Wright, where her exhibits were on display. So like this is the type of caliber of people coming into this gallery, Betty Wright didn't do Ratchet. This wasn't Trina, and her daddy. This was an elevated event. And I was just like, so you sell at the block. I said, you see what type of cars are pulling up here? Well, yeah, but everybody going in there was black. So, and then I want to know too, is that my hang up? Am I just thinking too much into it? Was he just really just an isolated, ignorant case, and we just keep it pushing? Or am I projecting? Is that the reason why I don't attract or appeal to, my Adam Levine's? I can't even believe I'm saying that. I'm telling you, 5-6 years ago, that wouldn't even have been an interest of mine.
Right. Right, I understand. And this is the thing is that, as far as the superiority complex that a lot of Caucasian Americans have, it is absurd, and we know that it's absurd, and there's no one that's superior to me or inferior to me, and that's where I was raised, and I understand that, I know that, I believe that, but it's a myth they perpetuate. Some of them actually believe it. Now, people who say things like that, they actually believe those myths, whether they're white or black, and so he believed those foolish myths, and those stereotypes. He believed them. Most of them know it's a bunch of bull, and that that they're not better than us in any way, but they're often thrown or taken back when you show up and you let them know, or you carry yourself in such a way that you're no better than me, and they're kind of like thrown because they are used to black people deferring to them. In general, and I'm speaking as someone who was born and raised in the South. They're used to us deferring to them. They're used to us, treating them as if they are superior, and they're not. And when you treat them head on, peer to peer, it throws them. It throws them. And like he said to you, are you trying to say that? Yeah, I'm trying to say that. Your history is worse than ours as far as stealing now. And so, and they're thrown that you're not buying into it because they actually bought into it. So I've seen that happen a good bit, especially in the South. But yeah, and they kind of, when they realize that you think, oh, she thinks she's just as good as me, it kind of throws them, and sometimes it repels them. And or like I had one of my coworkers, one time I was talking about my dating history, and short, a black man. She said, Corinne, I think you're just gonna have to marry a white man. And I was so insulted, but I think she meant it as a compliment, like, you're too good for a black man. I believe she meant it as a compliment, but I was thoroughly insulted, and I was really shocked that she said that. Um, because I don't carry myself as if anybody is superior to me. I'm talking to you the way you talk to me, and so and it throws them when you do that. Like he said, you were too layered or too complex. What he meant was you act like you're just as good as any other white person. That's what he meant. and and it was throwing him, and he didn't really know how to talk about it, And so that actually was what he was saying. Um, you think y'all are just as good as us. And it was throwing him. You probably are the only person he ever met that acted like that. But yeah, there's an expectation they're going to defer. Who's up there? Cynthia. Hi, Cynthia.
Yeah, that's Koja Malik, actually. So we're welcoming her to the panel, and I want to thank you again for the answer. And it has been a long road, but I would just pray that the more people that I meet, whether I want to be in a romantic relationship with them or not, that type of thinking just kind of, because to be told that you're too pretty to think like that, like too pretty to think of the truth, or it was really something. And like I said, it was about 5 years ago, so I would hope that if I'm met with that same type of situation, I can handle it differently. But it really was something. But yes, welcome to the panel. And also, Sir Anthony asked who was our lovely guest this evening. This is the lovely Miss Passionate Bliss. You can find her channel also. It is going to be linked in the comments in the pin section of this particular video. Once the playback is I guess once it loads, once the playback is loaded, you'll see that it's a link and you can check it in. And I'm also, remember, at the end of our time for our little networking, I'm going to play some music and we can mingle a little bit. We can exchange email addresses and we can have a little networking. And her link will be dropped in the chat. So, all right, so I'm going to go silent again. Welcome to the panel again, Miss Koja Malik. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Hey, Passionate Bliss, my fellow nurse and sister. How you doing?
Okay.
Did you say you've been a nurse since 97?
Yeah.
For about 22 years? Me too.
All right.
So, yeah, but it was what Courtney says. That guy was amazed that he was the first white guy in a black setting. I actually worked in a prison, and I happen to have nurses that have quit because we live in a small town, mostly black, and she came into an environment where not only was the majority of the people black, but the majority of the people in supervisory positions were black. And so they quit. And the reality is, they say, for every, if you got one white nurse, it takes two white nurses to do what one black nurse do. And somehow we are stereotyped as less. But as black people, I think we put ourselves in a box, and I think we let others put us in a box. Like, we cannot be more than one thing. I cannot listen to Evanescence and Jodeci are old, so my music preferences is old. And we can't do that. We put ourselves in boxes, and we let others define us, and we subconsciously take those things upon ourselves. We can be many things, but they want to limit us to one thing. I can be my good old country grammar self on this live, and when it's time to switch it up, we can code switch and put on that Murdia proper voice. But I like my country grammar, so I'm a mom family, so I'm gonna talk how I feel to talk. But I think we put ourselves in boxes, and I'm like Passionate Bliss. I prefer black men, not Haitian men, not Jamaican men, just regular old black American men. I am not that diverse, and that is my comfort zone. I have dated on a date or two with others, and just my comfort zone is black men. I don't know why black men don't feel comfortable in the skin they in. I don't know why they don't recognize the beauty that we think we see in them, in themselves. And I was, going through these YouTube streets, and you see all this stuff about men wanting to date others, mate with others, have baby with others. And I just remember a time where black men were proud to say, my baby looked like me. And it's like, now they want to say, do everything to ensure that their babies don't look like them.
And
And
you know what? I found that you know, the white race, which is in the majority right now, or in control and power right now, they have a fear. They're a fearful people, and so they seek to suppress and to discriminate and dominate. And black men in general have been emasculated by white society. They don't know how valuable they are. They don't know how powerful they are. There's a systematic, consistent effort to totally degrade the black man. It's not as bad with the black woman,
oh,
because they're
they defeminize us or
yeah,
unfeminize us or
yeah,
whatever. You know, they
yeah. We're
run
less threatening.
from
We're less threatening.
this.
Hmm.
No, I think if they use our men to get to us, but if they knew the hand that rocks the cradle is the hand that rules the world, and white men have managed to convince their women to advocate their votes to them, because white men do not do what black men do. Black men say you ain't shit. Every race is above you. White men don't tell white women that. They say, yeah, I'm gonna take care of you, even though I was putting you in insane asylums and you didn't even get the right to vote until after black men. But they tell the lie that I am your protector. Whereas black men say, bitch, I ain't your protector. I ain't studying you. So they know I need a little bit of lie. So they ain't been telling us them lies. So we have kind of learned to not live with them lies. But them white women get their like wake up call when they become those second wives and the first wives. So they get their nigga wake up call. I'm just gonna put it like that. But I don't know why they don't recognize their worth. I don't know why with slavery and everything. I don't know why they don't fight. But if I have to say something to black men, and it's my elementary poetry I wrote years ago, and I will hope that black men hear this, and I'll read them. And I done had my little, I ain't had no martini, but I had my pumpkin cranberry juice too. So if I'm a little bit slurred, I'm going to read it to you. And this goes out to black men. To you I submit gladly, because I know you love me madly. You recognize my worth. I trust you with my heart. I never worry about it being hurt. You can have me for breakfast, lunch, and dessert. My friends and family say I must deserve, but they don't understand the way your tongue works. His words penetrated my defenseless. I'm defenseless. No need to strategize. I'm the only woman for which you have eyes. Can I be of ease to see? No need to deceive. To see my reprieve, the one I can lean on, who turns this house into a home. Bone of his bone, flesh of his flesh. When two mesh, no beginning, no end, devoid of sin. Loving him only until my body returns to the dirt. The end to his search. God is his number one priority. But it's me to which he leads, patient like the sea, waiting to be kissed by the sun. I waited for his return, 360 degrees back to the days of Adam and Eve, before we were separated by leaves or status or bling, the superficial things we strive to achieve, just to say we made it, things that only keep us separated. So I'm going to hear this and hate it. There is no I, me, or he is we. I never have to ask. He gives to me freely. Never want to see me on my knees begging and live. I never put him in an awkward place. Respect the space. Most will not understand. There is no perfect man or woman. But we fit each other perfectly. He heals me. I ground him. We don't love spiritually. Thanks to God, he found me. And I don't think black men hear that, or they don't want to hear that. I don't think they want to live up to the weight of that, or even feel they deserve that. But that's how we feel about them. It's unfortunate that they don't see it, or people have told them that we don't feel it, but we do. And I'm not afraid. I'm not sure if they're scared to fight for it, or to have to even have a fight, or to even think that everything that happened in the 400 years, that we don't still see them as men, but we do. And we know that people are living up to being so much more now, which they do.
Right. Amen. And actually, I need to write a poem about black men too. I think I'm gonna do that because I do write poems. But I am gonna. I think I'm gonna write one about black men. I've never written one to them. Well, that was beautiful.
It was absolutely beautiful. I even tell everybody in the chat, please put y'all blowers up for Miss Koja Mallet with that Absolutely. Thank you so much. I didn't mean to cut you off, Pastor. I just wanted to say that really quick, but please go ahead and respond back to what you're saying because it is so valid, and I do have some things I want to contribute to that conversation too. But go ahead and continue.
Yeah, especially one of my most popular videos that I put out was, and it still surprises me that I still get men who will comment on today. It's called my that video is named "Dear Black Men, Please Talk to Us, Love Black Women." And I did that video, and I get so many responses from black men on that video, because I don't know why they feel like we don't love them as much as we do. We love them, we adore them, we understand that they're kings, and I think they've forgotten somewhere along the line that they're actually kings, and we're very well suited to them, because black men are very powerful, and they're very they can be overpowering, but the black woman is able to temper that, and we're able to strong enough to stand up to that, and we can temper that, but a lot of them feel challenged by that, and they will go look for outside of their race for a docile woman who's not gonna who's not had to be as strong as we've had to be, because they don't wear this skin, they don't experience what we experience, so they have not had to be as strong as we are. And so as soon as a black man puff up a little bit, she fall all the way down, but he puff up at us, we're gonna be like, what? And we have a way to temper them, because they get out of black men. If they have nothing else, they have the audacity, and they are cocky. But that is totally sexy to me. A cocky black man, oh my gosh, I totally love that. But they can get beside themselves too. Like you need to quit. You need to come on in with all that. And so as a black woman, we'll say that to them, because we know what their experience is like. But somebody who's not used to them puffing up, because we puff up too. But they totally cow, and the men who I feel like don't have an internal strength, that's what they want. They don't want a mate who's designed for them to meet them where they are, and they want somebody that's going to defer to them. And if he's got enough money, the white women will do it all day and all night. Black women have a tendency to say, I don't care how much money you got, you got to come better than that. But and so I feel like that's one of the major appeals of white women to them, their willingness to be more docile, and to fall back as soon as they say anything. But I felt like any man who needs that's not a black man I want. I feel like he's damaged, and that's why I try to not say my feelings on interracial relationships. I feel like a lot of those men who want white women, they don't. I feel like they have issues of self-hatred and inferiority, and they need that white woman for validation. And so I feel like that's why a lot of them, when I see them, I make assumptions. It used to upset me, and I felt personally rejected as a black woman when I would see a black man with a white woman. I took it as a personal rejection. I've made nasty comments in my youth and all kind of things, interracial couples. But now, when I look at it, I feel sorrow, and I feel a pity for them, because I know they don't value themselves. And I know they feel like I need this white woman to validate me, that I'm just as good as white people. You need her for that. Because if you look at my black face, all you see is, the same devalued soul that you carry. So I feel sorrow and a pity for them when I see them in those relationships. And I do make certain assumptions about them. But that's on me. but it is so funny, and I do recognize the double standard. I don't feel the same thing when I see a black woman with a white man. I feel like, what, that lady got tired of sitting on her couch by herself. She was tired of being alone in that cold, empty bed, and that man was treating her good. Girl, go on ahead. And so that's how I feel when I see a black woman with a white man. So when I see
that's your point right there. That's your point right there, passionate. But she was tired in that bed. When I see that black girl with a white man, girl, go ahead. Thank you. You old enough to remember that commercial. No, my brother, you got to get your own. When I see a black woman with a white man, she had that man by the hand like he a child. Like, come on, dog. You got to get your own sister. This one mine here. I don't know why he mine, but he mine.
He kept coming around.
The interracial relationships that I've seen, and it's more the younger generation, because my mom said the same thing. As a Spanish But when my younger sister, who was much younger than me, she was like, "You can date that white man." I guess she figured out, hey, this dating pool ain't that much with black men, so I'm gonna let my younger daughter date this white man.
Hmm. Rather than be by themselves, as they got older and older, they're like, oh well, I guess they better let them go. But these young kids, they don't care. They don't care
It's sad. She
at
said, when
all.
I was in college, it was this white guy, and he wanted to take me home to his parents. She said, my black butt wasn't gonna go home now. And she said she often thought that, the trouble that she had with black men, well, her life had been a lot easier had she gone that route. But she liked me. She liked black men, so good, bad, and ugly.
Hmm. Yes, I won't give up on them. I can't. They're too amazing, um, and I'm here to tell them that they're amazing. I will not give up on a black man. Um, and hopefully those that have been damaged can be reconciled to us one day, and that's part of my message as well. I know that some of them have been damaged. They have had bad relationships. They have been burned. They said some of them, I've had them tell me they're tired of fighting with black women. And I was like, well, why she fighting you? You must be up to no good. But and I said, well, I hope for that one day, you can be reconciled to us whenever you know, are ready. We'll be here. And whatever was done to you, I'm sorry for that, and I regret that, and you didn't deserve it. Um, but when you're ready, and some of that bitterness is gone, you we want to be reconciled to you. So.
I literally had no black men in my house. Cause you know what black men do? When the men go, they go with the woman family. So the men that we had at Christmas and Thanksgiving, they was with the white family cause the women planned everything. And so growing up, we didn't have a lot of men. I had two male cousins, and it just wasn't any men around. And I had three sons, and I say I would hate to send three black men out into the world that were not going to be good men to three black women. So it is my hope that if I, like you said, if I cannot have a black man for myself, that I send three decent black men into the world for three black women. But I know I don't have no choice over that.
Right.
But I had that same sentiment that if I could not have a black man for myself, I would at least want to raise
Mm-hmm.
somebody that daughter could have a black man.
Right.
And I don't think black men hear that when we're interacting with each other on a dating level.
Mm-hmm.
They just hear angry, independent black woman say she don't need me.
Right. That's not true. We do need them, and I hear them saying that, and that is not true. That is a lie. We do need them, and they need us as well.
But I'm gonna have that conversation too, ladies, because and the men, please feel free. That link is dropped. Let me drop it again because it'd be great to get some male energy up here as well. Because these questions that I have are also for the males in the room, but when men say that, oh, these women think they're independent. Is that the one that you're going after that thinks she's independent? Because I had a friend that and literally it was the last concert I ever paid for. I took her to go see Rob Thomas of Matchbox, which when I tell y'all I'm into my Eurocentric culture, I'm into my Eurocentric culture. So at any rate, we went to go see um Rob Thomas, and she drove at the time a Porsche, and it was one of those top of the line Porsches. She was an administrator for a hospital. Sis had plenty money, plenty. So when we were coming, we after we left the show. Now mind you, we go to the show, we have a great time, an amazing time. She's like, Courtney, I would never have thought that a rock show would be that good, and I'm like, well, technically. Rock Thomas is not rock, but we were at the Hard Rock, so I allowed her thoughts. But we stopped and we got something to eat at Wendy's. And when we were coming out of the Wendy's, there were some black men, and my like again, I'm natural. My friend, on the other hand, while driving the Porsche, she is everything you can imagine. She got her boobs done, that waist is snatched, the weave is down to And now, mind you, this was when I was already into the fitness or what have you. So, my body is good, but I'm natural. I don't have on the makeup. I don't have nails. And I got on my little sundress. And he was coming at her. And he was like, oh, let me get, hey, I was just keeping he was like, I was about to keep I thought this was mine or something. He said something to get her, like, to laugh about the Porsche. And she was like, that looked like, dude, you can never. You know the look I'm talking about that the black girl gave him. Like, man, you wish. And he was like, oh, your ass is ugly. All of a sudden she went to being ugly. And, oh, it probably ain't even yours anyway. You probably rented it. You probably rented or you probably effing for it. He had all this stuff to say. But mind you, that's who you just wanted 2 seconds ago. You didn't want the chick grabbing on the passenger seat. You didn't want the chick over here with no weave and none of that. You wanted someone that was fitting that lifestyle. And now that this person was not receiving or was not responding the way you wanted, all of a sudden she was this, she was that, she was ugly. And I'm just saying, I think that's those are the main type of men that will say, oh, these women out here are so independent. Well, that's what I'm independent, I had this conversation earlier today. We are independent and that we are able to provide the basic necessities for ourselves. We don't need you for that. We are independent in that aspect. But we're not. The thing of it is that when I say that it's not that I'm saying that we aren't independent, but what I'm saying is that we aren't all. I wasn't giving him a big, you could never. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, because I was a bystander at that point anyway. I was third wheel. I might as well not have been a part of the conversation. But what I'm saying is that I've been told that before too. That I bet you're all on this independent stuff. I've been told that since on this channel, even by other people that have come onto the channel. I'm like, listen, you do not know me. Like, I may have done these things, but trust me, I did these things because I had to do these things. I didn't do these things because I wanted to throw my resume in your face. I did these things because no, I wasn't going to take this type of intellect and then get a job that was not going to commiserate with the degree that I had earned nor the experiences that I had had. No. But that doesn't mean that I'm stuck on it. I'm just saying that I'm not gonna sit up there with having the type of pedigree that I have, the type of legacy that I have held, and I'm going to be getting paid whatever. And even when I was, even when I always say, even when I was in situations where I was not operating at my fullest capacity, I still did not appear like I was not operating at it. You understand? But that wasn't because of, oh, I'm trying to throw this in some dude's face. That's because, like, that's who I am. Like, I am Rosalind Richards' daughter. I am a king's kid. I look like, having those type of, conversations. And that's where I was like, I think that sometimes that's where the generalization of this whole notion of, oh, black women are, this and that, and they caught up on this. And I'm like, that's just not true. That's just not true.
Right.
Because I'm not like that. Like,
right. It's who you're selecting.
Right.
And then my thing on the whole strong independent black woman, we've been that way because we've had to be. We've had to be. If I had a choice that I could, be an airhead and let my husband do everything, I would. But we've done it because we've had to be, because we've been, some of us have been abandoned, and some of us, had to leave.
When we were married, people used to call us Little Kim and Malcolm X because I was short like that, and my ex-husband was real. He was suited up and booted up, and that was. I said, but once we were divorced, honey, I became Maxine, Michelle Obama. I became that because I didn't have that side anymore. I didn't have that side anymore, so I had to
Right.
become that.
Right. And that's a and I think the thing that they don't realize is what a heavy load that is on us and what a strain it is for us. Because as women we were, and this is my Christian background, we were never designed to carry that load. We were designed to be helpers. And so for us to be abandoned or had to flee in some cases, from our man, from our head, from our leader, and to take on that role that we were never designed to carry, that has, to a certain extent, has hardened a lot of women, and they are mouthing off to you. And some of us have lost our minds under the weight of that, myself included. I have lost my mind before as a single mother. I'm glad to say I got it back. But some of us, and that's why we don't know how to talk to men. That's why they got a smart mouth. You could never, and that's why they getting all this and all that. And because some of us, we've lost our mind. We forgot how to talk to our man. We forgot how to talk to them as kings, and so we're not getting treated as queens in return. And so that's what has happened.
That wants to come on, Sir Senior wants to come on. Is here in the chat. I know sometimes, but he said he's hit the link and he's. No, I heard him. I don't see him in the background, but I see his message here. It says that I'll just be in the chat. I hit the link, but never mind. I never, it'll show me in the back. I never saw you in the background, so please, I posted the link again. Thank you also, Soldier Malik. But I didn't see him say that, but I saw him say he'll just be in the chat. I never saw him in the background. But as black women, yeah, they give us standards that nobody else has. A white woman can go and dye her hair blonde, even though she's a brunette, and we can see her roots, and they can switch up their hair. They can go from straight to curly to this and to that, and it be nothing about their identity. We do have some black people that just like to switch it up. Now, I ain't get the big booty from my African side, but I got the Indian long hair. And I remember you saying that you cut your hair and whatever, but I never liked that hair. I never liked all that long hair. And I feel like people never even see us because of our hair. And I know you said you felt self-conscious when you first got your hair. And I think that's because I remember back in the day, me and you the same age. You remember that TCB grease? You remember that blue bergamot? TCB. The white people use TCB, but they used to call it Alberto VO5. That's what the white people called it, but they used to use it. And so I don't think they had the right products designed for our hair to maximize our hair, and we were using stuff that wasn't for us. So a lot of us were taught not to like our hair. But we should, and if we want to decide we want to wear a wig or a weave, we should. And we're the only people who cannot wear a weave today and switch it up. And I'll never hear them talking about them newscasters with them bad, ugly ass mismatched weaves.
Yes,
and I
ma'am.
ain't never seen a white woman in entertainment without a weave.
Yes, ma'am.
They have so much to talk about our hair.
And I've worn weaves enough that I can spot a white woman with a weave in a minute. And I was like, girl, my weave looks better than that.
I had the white lady on my side. I'm like, listen, stop going to the little kiosk at the mall and buying them 50-cent synthetic ponchos. Girl, come with me to Black Town, and I'm gonna get you a real human hair. And it ain't gonna cost you no $50. I can get you a drawstring and bring it to you. That was back in the day when they had the drawstring. But we never hear them criticizing all of them wear weaves. And sometimes they have me so thin you can read their thoughts. But you never hear that.
Yes.
We always do. And so, it's unfair that the things that we made popular, I see, I love me some ghetto nails. I don't wear nails now because, I ain't even got time to be doing all that maintenance on going to the nail shop because I live in a one traffic light town and that little one nail shop be crazy. But we came out with the original bling bling nails back in the day, and all them white people, oh, that's so ghetto. You can't keep them damn Jersey bitches and all them without these nails. And they had to put their stamp of approval on it, and now we can't even wear the nails without us judging each other. If I want to go get me some Christmas nails, I got to worry about somebody saying it's ghetto. I can't just want to have fun for a week of Christmas. I got to worry about my coworker calling me ghetto and judging me. But the white girl could go and get her some Christmas fingernail with some reindeer, and it's fine. But I can't do that. I can't have fun for a week. So I got to
Right. You know, and it was
They can
funny.
get all they little pointed,
Mhm.
what they call stiletto heels, nail coffin, and
Mhm.
all this, and they're fine. But I
Mhm.
put those same nails on, and somehow I'm
Right.
unique. You
Right.
might got a whole PhD, you can't put on the nails, but
Mhm.
the white girls and the white people can, and they had to put their stamp of approval before it's okay. But they
Mhm.
could wear what we discovered, but we couldn't
Right.
even wear it without being
Right.
stereotyped as a certain type of way,
Right.
instead of it just being fun.
Right. And I remember as a nurse manager, I would have the corporate, nurse come in. She's, checking out our building and everything. And so I'm taking around. She said, "Oh, what color your nails are today? I come here to see Corinne's nails." I'm like, "What? I don't even look at your nails. I don't know what's on your nails." And they'll, be like, "Oh, you got the ponytail today or whatever." Oh, and so they were always checking me out and like really having something to say about what I was looking like. And I was like, this is funny because nobody's doing that to anybody else here. I'm the because a lot of times I was the only black person in management. Um,
Mm-hmm.
in the South, but I got scrutinized from head to toe. Oh, I come to look. Let's see your shoes today. What? Nobody else's shoes is being called out. Why are my shoes being called out? But that is something that they put a standard on us that nobody else is expected to live up to these standards that they put on us. And so that we are under a lot of pressure and a lot of weight. And some of us, like I said, some of us black women have lost our mind and we have forgotten how to talk to our men. And I
And
think
we
we need to
have
relearn it. And we have to learn how to fall
exactly.
back because I have like the guy I'm dating now.
We got to go both ways
Mhm.
because we are, as a general, as people, have forgot the basic things we have taught our children. We tell our children to say, please, thank you, excuse me. But as adults, do people exercise this?
Mhm.
You considered a punk if you say excuse me, thank you, or open a door. We teach our children common courtesy that we don't even
Mhm.
exercise as adults. We don't even know how to talk to each other. And I think that's the basic thing. And I say it's cool to be cool,
Mhm.
and we don't even exercise. I say everything I need to know I learned in kindergarten. I
Right.
don't care if you're a man or a woman. Hello, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, it ain't even got to be that formal, but
Right.
just speak to each other respectfully, regardless of dating situation, etc. And
Right.
somehow it has become
Mhm.
uncool
Yeah.
to speak to each other
Mhm.
respectfully, like we would teach our kids. And we are so hypocritical. We tell our children stand in line at school, but when we get to Walmart, we skipping in line. Can I tell you how on point this conversation is as we talk about communication between us? I have a real issue that if a gentleman is interested in me, when you text me, don't just start talking about what you want to talk about. Say hello, Courtney. Like introduce yourself. I've been really I've been uh just kind of called out for that before, and I feel as though this shouldn't be something that's not extra. That's just common courtesy.
Mhm.
You say, "Sir Courtney," then move in. But want to welcome to the panel, sir. Our first male on the panel. Thank you
Hey.
so much, sir. And you missed. Listen, sir. Yesterday you were the first in the chat, and you missed because one of the gliders he purchased the novel, and he paid extra so that somebody else could get another link. And I was calling, and I was like, "Sir, you're still in the room, still in the room." So somebody else got your novel. But we'll see what we can do about, since you're the only male on the chat tonight, giving you another copy, giving you a copy. All right. So, absolutely, sir. I would definitely love for you to chime in on some things that we have talked about and get your thoughts. Definitely. You asked, do the ladies really want your male's point of view? Absolutely. You're always welcome to share. Thank you. Thank you, Courtney, as always, for allowing me to come on. I appreciate your channel, as always. Even though I'm a little tough on you, it's tough love. It's tough love. I appreciate everybody who's came on the panel, everybody who's in the chat. Passionate Bliss, I appreciate you coming up and being, you know, your genuine self. I love when people are their genuine self. I just love that. I love that.
Yeah. I'm too old to fake the funk. But so now, sir, what do you think about the status of, men and women today and how we interact, and the impact that it's had on, our children. Because
I would say that, as Cynthia was just saying, that we don't teach, as what we teach our children, we really don't teach our children that no more. We don't teach them to say please and thank you and open doors and being courteous. But even when we were, we don't really practice it in our adulthood. I do, but, I'm a different type of character. But if we gave each other more respect, I'm big on respect. Like, um, Sister Courtney, like, knows how I am. I'm big on respect. I don't want you to give me um, disrespect, and I don't want to be disrespectful to you for any reason.
right.
So, like when you were saying earlier about you don't like men to cuss at you, and I was like, yeah, I really love that because you have to teach a person how to speak to you, how to treat you, and what you allow is what a person do. A person does what they want and what you allow.
Mm-hmm.
And if you hold your boundaries, what ends up happening is either they meet your criteria or at least they meet you somewhere in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just let your boundaries just flop around, then you only going to get the worst.
Have you found that a lot of women are giving you this strong, independent, I don't need a man speech?
Oh, they give me that all the time. They give me that I don't need a man speech. And then, so in my situation, what I usually get is I get some of those I don't need a man speeches. And then when they spend time with me, if it's on a dating situation or just friends, then they feel, mm, I'm trying to find a better word to say, envious of the fact that I really don't technically need a woman. All the major stuff that a woman does, I do that. I learned it from women and men and older people. So, like, I cook, you know, better than, most people on TV. And I'm not bragging, I'm just saying I love cooking. So I'm that type of guy where I can do, most a little bit of everything. So when I get into a relationship, especially with this masculine woman, and I don't like to say that they're independent. I would like to say they're masculine because usually it's not independence. They don't want to be independent. They're not really independent. They're just masculine.
Mm.
And that's because they don't see themselves as strong until they, show these masculine traits.
Okay, that's interesting. That you see it as masculine, because I know that as far as a lot of the strong, independent women, the men will say, you can't tell them anything, and they don't like it. So is that so? You feel like that's a turn off to men? Um, when women do say, "Oh, I'm strong. I'm a strong, independent black woman." Do you feel like that's a turn off because you do see it as masculine? Oh, and as a side note, men who cook are totally sexy. That's a side note. But
I think that women have a protective layer of us because we have, and maybe men too, I can only speak from a woman point of view, is that when we come out to her, I think a lot of people say, I'm not looking for a serious relationship when they really are looking for a serious relationship because they feel like if I tell this person I'm looking for a serious relationship, they're going to think I'm trying to clink, clink, lock them down. So I don't think we really a lot of times say what we're looking for because how it will be perceived. So we just go, oh yeah, I just want to date. I'm not looking for anything serious. When in reality, I'm not saying you're the one, but I am open to that. But if the person
right.
I'm going with is not, that's not even on their radar, don't waste my time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're too scared to say that because we think the person's going to perceive that, yes, I'm trying to lock you down. No, I'm not saying you're the one, but if you're
Right.
not open to that idea, let's do each other a favor. Don't waste my time. I ain't going to waste your time. Because there's plenty of people out there that want what you want.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of times we're not saying what we really want and expecting that when we spend time with a person, it'll get there. And
Right.
sometimes women put on a protection and don't say, hey, times when we reveal too much too fast, we have not always been on the good
Right.
side of it.
Right.
And so I think people have a talking coded language and don't
Yeah.
always see the
Yeah.
ones, and we're being protective and things. And so everybody understand, oh no, I'm not looking for nothing serious. I'm just dating to see what happens and this and then. That's just what I think we talk. And Lupe Fiasco had this song when you were talking about men wanting to talk to you in a certain way. It's called Dumb It Down. And sometimes I think that's what some of these men be trying to do, dumb us down to accept the unacceptable. Like, well, this person taking it, that woman taking it, you should take it too. And that's kind of one of my favorite Lupe Fiasco songs, Dumb It Down.
I
Yeah.
would say that I would say that a part of it is a mixed thing. Men have a protective layer as well, and honestly, men have a more protective layer than women do. They just don't say that. Like, I'm just blunt because I don't care. Like, I mean, fight me. So, so, but the thing is, they have a more protective layer. But if a man goes to a woman and he tells her, well, you're different than the women I usually date, and I want to see if I can make something, long lasting with you. Automatically, he looks less desirable. Like, he's
Really?
automatically less desirable because of that. He,
Really?
in the moment, he'll be like, you're like, oh wow, he's honest and he's straightforward. But he's gonna look less desirable. A man is more
Really?
desirable when other women want him. You don't want a man that don't nobody else want, unless there's something wrong with you. And the same way, a man doesn't really want a woman that nobody else wants. So the fact that people are attracted to that person, either physically or emotionally or mentally, is key. So also, you don't want to run somebody off, because if a man says to a woman, "Oh, well, I'm trying to look for a wife," I say that all the time to see a woman's reaction. I'm looking for a wife. Honestly, I believe a woman is a wife before you throw a ring at her. You know, so either she has those qualities or she don't. So if you don't have those qualities, I'm not gonna waste my time. Like, I'm really not gonna waste my time. I've done all the, as they say, running the streets, you know, hide and go get it stuff. Like, I ain't even enjoy it then. Like, I mean, they did, but I didn't. Like, because if I can't, as Andre 3000 said, that it makes no sense, if there's no feelings involved, you know, like,
How
it's
old
like
are you?
whenever, it's like whenever you, like when people watch porn, I always use this analogy. When people watch porn, like when you're in the moment and you horny, that porn is sexy. But as soon as you come or somebody else knock on the door, you're like, ew, this is filth. So you have to look at it the same way, as once you get out of that emotion, you know,
No, when you came in that girl mouth and she spit in the other girl mouth, that wasn't sexy to me. Say that. Oh, you nasty. I'm like, wait, we gonna say that for the glow after dark tomorrow, sir. I think Passionate Bliss asked your age, and I have a question for you, sir. This is gonna be real good. I was about to say we need to shut it down, but now we about to really get it. Go ahead and Passionate Bliss had a question regarding your age, sir.
oh, I'm 36.
Okay. Okay. So you're kind of getting a little bit mature. But
Oh
so
no,
you so are
I've
you
been 30
saying?
my whole life. I ain't mean to cut you off, but I've been 30 my whole life. So yeah, I've always yeah.
And so I wanted to ask, so if a woman says to you that I want to be married, if she tell you that right up front, what do you think about being married? When do you see yourself being married? I want to be married. Is that a turn off to you as a man?
Yep.
No, no, it's usually not a turn off to a man. It's how you say it and how you respond when you do that. If you throw your book of list of what he needs to be and what you want him Sorry about that. And how you already decided what the dress and the house on the hill you're gonna have. Like that's too much. That's too much.
Mhm.
But you're saying that I do want to be married and I believe in marriage.
Mhm.
Then if you express it, it's like if you express it that way, that's something different. It's like I was gonna use an inappropriate example, but never mind. Um, it's not so much what you say, it's how you say it, and then it's also your reaction after that. So
Okay.
if you're like I'm trying to lock you down, and you're like, oh well, when we're gonna get married, and what is your time period on when you're gonna get married, and all this other stuff, you can find that out by just talking to him. Men are simple,
Mhm.
like they're simple. Once they
Mhm.
get out of their little guarded spot,
Mhm.
they simple.
Okay. And so she says, okay, so what about this now? Because I've been told by my friends that this runs men off. But I tell them, and I'm serious about it too. I tell them, I do want to be married. That's normal for me. My parents have been married for 50 years. Their friends have been married for 50 years. That's normal for me and my family to be married. So my intention, in dating is to be married. Otherwise, it's no need for me to be dating. And so, I feel like that after a year of dating, you should be engaged. At the second year, you should be planning a wedding or getting married. Otherwise, after that 1 year, and if a guy tells you that you're dating that he doesn't know, I feel like he does know. The answer is just no. He just don't want to say it, and I feel like you should open it up and start dating other people. And so I tell him that you got a year of my time to waste. I'm 48. You got 1 year of my time to waste. Okay.
The first 3 months, he still got friends with benefits, and you might have them too.
Mm-mm.
Y'all ain't really even starting dating. Like, okay, this might be going somewhere, so maybe I'm gonna get rid of my friends with benefits. And you kind of ask, do you still got friends with benefits? Have you cut them off?
Yeah, and that's a specific conversation you have to say. If you had not had that conversation, then they could still be having their friends with
You gonna
benefits.
lie?
Mm-hmm.
They gonna lie.
They're gonna lie.
I'm gonna lie too. I'm gonna lie
You
too.
gonna
I'm gonna lie.
lie.
I ain't giving you no ammunition, but you can kind of tell.
I'm cutting them off after a year, and I tell them up front. And my friends was like, "You scaring him off?" And my position is, if I scare him off by saying that, then good. I feel like if I scare him off,
See, I think that
good.
this is a situation where you're gonna get what you get. And I will say this: I have definitely been in a couple of relationships where I'm just not gonna tell you everything. I was really told, hey, you told me too much. You told me too much. So that was one of the things I wanted to ask to Sir. What is that? What is that? Telling too much? Because I've been literally told by a couple of men that they were like, oh, if you wouldn't have told me that you cheated, I would never think that of you. Like you're so, you seem so thoughtful and da da da. And I'm like, I am, but the Courtney I was 20 years ago is not the Courtney I am right now. You don't know to tell them everything. You can tell them you can have 2 babies, and you can tell them you had sex 2 times, and they'll say that's 1 time too many. Well, but that's why I said I think with that type of mentality, it's like we can't they say there's no honor amongst thieves. So imagine what that is amongst liars. If we all just lying to one another, where are we gonna end up? You just need to know my HIV status and my STI status. You ain't got to know how many people I slept with, and I'm not really asking you that question because we're
Right.
grown. We're over 30.
Right.
But I mean, why? If you so honest, why you can't be honest?
Okay, when we pass the 3 months, but I don't have to.
Why gotta be 3 months? What's the difference? You wasted 3 months of my life, and then finally I meet the real you. No, that's gonna make me not want you. Like when I meet the real you, I could love the real you, but I don't want you because the first you was a liar.
No, I'm just not finna tell you I'm tired of just my question is on the first date. On the first date, you don't know my life story. You don't say no, sir. But some men, this is what they're telling some women.
I
Don't
told you
give me
it's
all
not
of
what
that.
you say,
They
it's
don't
how
want to
you
know
say
all of
it.
that.
It's not what you say, it's how you really eat ice cream that often. I mean, I still like ice cream, but if you tell me I can't eat ice cream, I'm like, well, who you telling me I can't eat ice cream? I'm gonna go make some right now. So if you tell me that I gotta stick to this timeline, you're pressuring me. I feel that pressure, like you're pressuring me. If you say that, well, I'm dating for a purpose, and I believe in marriage,
I've been told that.
and that's enough. Like that's enough. You know, we're not gonna take all day and forever. We're gonna, you know, I'm not trying to rush you to, you know, Las Vegas tonight, but but I still want to be dating for a purpose. That already is telling me, okay, well, she's serious and there's a timeline. Without you saying, well, we gonna be dating you my boo next month, and we engaged the week after that, and I already done picked out the dress.
That's
You know,
too
that's
much.
how it sounds. That's how it comes across when you see that timeline like that. So just let them know that I'm serious, and this is what I'm going for, versus saying, oh well, cause you're not my mama. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not my mama, so don't tell me what to do. Tell me what you expect.
It's not a job where you get a 3 month evaluation, a 6 month evaluation, and then after a year, like when you're working for the state, you find, you know, you got some jobs you work for the state, you got a whole year probation. It's not like that. And sometimes we put it on like, oh, you want my time schedule? Okay, in 3 months you got an evaluation. Okay, we're gonna reevaluate you in 6 months. Oh, after 1 year you got a job permanent. Then we just can't terminate you for no reason. We gotta have a reason to terminate you.
I mean, you really
I
should think
do.
about that, because
I've been giving them a 90-day evaluation.
I might know something about you, and you might know something about me that's changed your perception.
In
Like,
3 months we might not
especially
have chemistry.
especially
We
with
might not
dealing with a
have.
person who they really is for 3 months.
You really don't know the person. You don't even begin to unravel the person for at least 3 months, because if you're
Yeah.
doing something, you have jobs, you have responsibilities and other things. You may not even get to see each other that often. You may talk a lot, but you really don't even begin to know the person if you have a life and other things going on and you grow up a certain age.
Yeah.
Or
And that's individual too, because I feel like when you're dating somebody, you should communicate with them every day. And I feel like the level at my age, the level at which I communicate, I give a lot of information. And so I know that the quality of conversations that I have and the amount of information that I share, because I want you to know what it is, so we ain't wasting each other's time for too much. But I tell them, you know, I'm not. There's no pretense. This is what it is. By the end of 3 months, you will know everything there is to know about me. You will have seen everything, my temper, all of that. And so I feel like at the end of 1 year, at the level at which I communicate, then you will know whether you want to be with me or not. Be honest with you, most men know after a few months of dating. The rest of the time, they're just kicking the tires to see, how the car gonna run. And so I feel like at the end of a year, they know whether or not they want to marry you. And if they say they don't know, that means the answer is no. And so, but now I do know some people, they communicate, because I have stopped dating people because of this. They communicate once a week. They talk to each other on the phone every 4 or 5 days. Because I've asked her, I said, how often do you think you should talk to a woman when you're dating? Once a week. I was like, no wonder you've been dating for 3 years. You talking to her once a week, And so,
talking to a lot of other people once a week.
yeah. And that's why I said I have stopped dating people, because I told them, I said, okay, I'll give you 3 days to go without talking to me, and that's it. Oh, after 3 days, I think it's over. And I'm gonna have an attitude. What you calling me now? I could have been dead for 3 days, and you just calling me now. So I don't, because I don't accept that, And so I accept text messages and all that, because I understand, I've been director of nursing. I done work, 8 to 10, because corporate coming tomorrow, And so I understand that you may come home and you exhausted and you don't want to hear your own voice, let alone mine. So I get that. On that day, you could text me and say, hey, I'm exhausted. I'm getting to bed. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Whatever, But for you to go 3 days, without talking to me, you talk to me once a week, that's ridiculous. I don't need to talk to you that once a week. Don't talk to me at all. But that's the way I am, my personality. And because I communicate, at a certain level.
Seasons of your lives, because when I had kids and I worked them 3 12-hour shifts, man, I don't want to hear from you on those 3 days. Catch me. I had a boyfriend that had a whole other girlfriend on the 3 days I was working, and he did it consistently, because I consistently work that schedule. So I guess it depends on the seasons that you're at in your life.
Yeah.
The seasons the person you're dating is at.
Yeah. Yeah.
Girl, that man had a whole nother girlfriend Monday through Thursday. I mean, he was his girlfriend Monday through Thursday. He had a whole nother one Friday, Saturday, and
On the
Sunday.
weekends.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
worked that weekend shift.
I worked weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then,
Weekend nights. But
but I
you know
had.
what's the worst shift?
Mhm.
I tell any nurse, don't work that 311 for the 12. That 311 for the 12, they have a whole relationship. They could go on dates.
Yeah, yeah,
Dressed in bed and ready for you when you get
yeah.
home. You know, worked it out with her. See, on 11 to 7, 12 to 8, they can't do nothing but have sex.
Yeah. And that's what I told this one girl. She was saying she wanted to work that, and I was saying, you know, you got a husband and you got little kids, and I said you should. It's 3 to 11. 3 to 11 is hard on mothers with kids now, because first of all, the kids been at school, they ain't getting home till 3, and your man been at work, he getting home at 5. You know, and you know you working 3 to 11, the kids in the bed at 9, and he probably sleepy. You know, I said if you work 3 to 11, you know.
That girlfriend be their auntie.
I said, you know, you need to work either the day shift or you need to work either the night shift, so you can, you know, kids come home, you sleeping while the kids at school. When they get home, you waking up and you get them situated, feed them. Your husband come home, feed him, take care of him, put him in the bed, and then you can go to work. But I said that 3 to 11 is hard on the married girls, and they would quit. They would quit. Often I said I hate having people with young kids and married. I don't like to hire y'all for 3 to 11. Now I said, now you sure you want this? You know. She was like, "Nah, give me that midnight shift." So I was like, "Okay," but you know, because you don't see them, somebody else is, and so that's why you know I know that no, you can't do me no once a week. No, no, we must talk every 3 days, and you know, but back in the day, I used to make him call me every day because I had one friend cause I had this one guy I was dating, and I was. I was making him call me every day. He didn't like it, and he would call me like we talked for an hour the day before. He called me next day. Okay, I'm calling because you're going to have an attitude if I don't. I don't have shit to say, but I'm calling. I said, okay, well, thank you for calling. You know, lose the attitude next time and have a good evening. And, you know, and that's how it was. But by the time but after a few months, like 6 months later, one day he called me because he was in Texas and I was in Arizona. No, I wasn't. I was in Kansas City, Missouri. He called me and said, you know what? I can't find my wallet. Now you call me from Texas, because that's just how used to me talking to me he was. He was calling me for nothing in the middle of the day. I said, I can't find my wallet. I was like, I ain't got it, you know. And so, you know, and so, but the thing is that you know when you insist on you know what is healthy for you, and you insist on what's good for you, then eventually you get it, and they will adjust to you. And so, as long as I feel like you have a standard and you insist on a standard, and if they're not going to meet your standard, then let them go. You know, because if they weren't doing it, and that same guy, we didn't work out, but I was telling him we became best friends, and I was telling him that you know I said well he know he's supposed to call me. This is the third day. He ain't called me yet, but he know that he got to call me every 3 days. He was like 3 days. Used to make them call every day. He said, I'm so proud of you. You've graduated. I was like, well, I'm older now and I'm a director and all kind of stuff. but the fact is that, if you insist on what it is you need, then, you will get it. And so I feel like if I scare him off, I tell him, look, I want to be married. I think we should be talking marriage or getting engaged after a year. And after another year, we should be, planning a wedding or getting married or what, I feel like if I let him know that's my standard, then he knows he has a mindset and he knows what's going to happen at the end of the year. But I have had it also backfire, whereas the guy would start looking for somebody else to date at the end of the year. And I feel like if I scare him off by saying that, good, because that means he don't intend to do that in the first place. If I scare him off, that's good. I want him to be scared off. I'm going on without wasting my time, and so so that's how I feel about that. I feel like you should have standards and you should let it be known up front. But that's me now. I'm 48, so. But somebody at a different age group, because I ain't got no time to waste. My son told me I ain't got but 5 more years to look good. But he told me that
Girl, we got all kind of surgery and we still be preserved good, so you good.
I know, right? He told me that. He told me that about 4 years ago. So according to his timetable, I ain't got but 1 more year to look good. He told me. He told me to quit dumping these men. You ain't got but 5 more years to look good.
I'm still here.
So what if you had to make your perfect list of your ideal woman, what would be on it?
My perfect list would
Hmm.
You ever seen Boy Meets World?
Uh-huh.
So
Topanga.
like Topanga.
Seen what?
She's my
Yeah,
cousin Lola.
Topanga. Topanga was so fun.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hey, man. Fred Savage knew what he was doing. Oh, that was the son. Never mind. I mean, that was the favorite brother. Never mind. Yeah. Ben Savage.
Yeah, but she was the little girl on that movie where she was the funeral home girl, and she say, "You ain't got to be married to have kids." It was before she grew up. She was I can't remember the name of that movie, but
I don't know what
she
you're
was
talking
the
about.
daughter. And what's his name? Stephen Dreyfuss, not Stephen Dreyfuss, but Dan Aykroyd played in it, and she was the girl in it. Yeah.
But for the guests and for the people watching playback that maybe do not know Topanga and the power of the allure of the big booby, long hair, smart white girl Topanga that kind of has some black girl appeal. I live for a lot of black
Wait,
girls.
so he just named his ideal woman as a white woman?
Yeah. For some reason, because even in my school in my area, and we grew up separately, but I remember black boys saying, "Oh no, she gotta have something in her, and if she don't have something in her, I'm gonna put something in her." And I'm like, that white girl went and look at you.
Right.
But here we go.
So just now you asked Sir that, and Sir named a white woman.
Yeah, I named the white woman. I'll be
Yeah, sir named the white woman. Thank you.
Is
Oh.
it her aesthetic? Cersei, is it her aesthetic, or is it her aura or her personality that you're talking about, or is it
Or
both?
her being a white woman.
Is it that you want a Lisa Bonet type of free spirit?
No, he just named a white woman.
Everyone, please. I want Michael B. Jordan to know I'm very free spirited. Thank you.
So her singing, is it her look that you're talking about, or is it her like the free spirit, love, Lisa Bonet type of spirit in a black package, or is it the white package? I don't date white women. The only thing I like white is white meat chicken. So yeah, that part. Anyway, so what I'm saying is, what I meant by that was from the beginning of them dating, even when she always held him accountable. She was respectful, but she didn't take his crap. She was loyal, but she knew when to say, "Hey, you need to fall back and get yourself together." So those types of things is those same type of principles. Okay, I got it.
So are you saying you've never seen a black woman?
Shannon Doherty's character did that on Beverly Hills 90210.
Wait, so you've never seen a black woman display those characteristics?
Sir Senior, if she terminology fall back as a black woman, would that be a negative, or would you prefer her say, "Oh, hold up, you need to stop it. That is not cool. So can we stop for a minute?" If she told you, a black woman say, "Hey, you need to fall back," how would you be told? Like, so the thing is this. First of all, I do see black women with those characteristics. It was just easier for illustration to pick old school TV show. It was just for reference purposes. As I said, I don't date no white women, and I don't mess with white women. And I really don't like women who mess with white men. You gotta get that up out of you, because it changes who and how you usually respond. But with that being said,
Sir, you're telling Passionate Bliss that she got to get that swirling spirit out of her before you walk in for speed. Get that swirling spirit out of you, Passionate.
Gotta clean that up.
Man, Sir, you're trying to have faith. Not trying.
And yeah, I might sound white at times, but nah, I'm too blue, black, purple for that. So you gotta. I don't know, you take some Epsom salt, a little vinegar, some honey, some blackberry molasses. You gotta.
Oh no, no,
It's chocolate, like
the chocolatey ones are
like
the
the world.
the chocolatey ones are the most delicious.
He ain't that
Give us free.
he ain't that free, like, but he ain't
Mm-mm.
about one shade away from that.
The chocolatey ones are the most delicious ones.
I'm just lighting now. So yeah, but that blue, black, purple still in me. So
Oh no, I like the dark ones. Dark skin men are my favorite. The darker ones. Those are my
So
favorites.
you're just saying that there is a stereotype of black women that is not really applicable to us all the time. There's a stereotype. My name, I ain't never met a Keisha that wasn't a hoe. Sorry, Keisha, I got something to say.
that's facts. No.
But it's a stereotype of
No, I
black
believe in
women.
that though. I believe in sometimes your name
I have a Keisha friend that's not a
means something because every Chris
I
that I
I
met
just always
was
joke.
certain ways. Every Felicia I met was certain ways. Every Jonathan I met was certain ways.
Every belief is crazy.
No, he didn't.
So I
know a bunch of Coras in the prison system.
I mean, I know a bunch of guys named Corey, and they're either one or the other. It's usually only two versions of
Prison. Put the boy down low.
Y'all need to stop the madness.
You can be an anomaly, like you can be the exception to the rule, but usually your name means something. So that's why I say that as parents, we can't be giving these children these behind the dumpster names. Like it won't even trash. You usually put that.
Oh my god.
But
My god, today.
the thing is, you know, they have a stereotype of black women and what we are, and I don't really believe that stereotype is what it is, cause we code switch
Oh my
all the
gosh.
time.
Oh my
We
gosh.
code switch, and we can be that. If you were to go on my YouTube and look at my playlist, I got a rap playlist, I got a ride and music playlist, and I don't think that we always get to see those other sides of black people because we say, oh, she got the weave, she got the nails, and this is just her. And I think we...
Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me. I don't mean to interject. But I got a question. So, you want a real man, right?
Yes, everyone, we all want real men. But no, let me talk because Miss Coach Malley is married. Let me talk, thank you. Miss Coach Malley, please speak, because you're running these boards and you married them. Let me talk to sir for a minute, thank you. Okay, yes, thank you. Yes, I want a real man. I'm home from work. Exactly. I want a real man.
So, two things if you want a real man. One, you can't be fake. And want a real man.
And I told you I'm not. And to the point where some men have told me, hey, you shouldn't have told me that because I would never have thought that. And now I can't unthink that. Even though it was something that happened 20 years ago, they always want to think of, I was just, like one guy told me, oh, I thought you said your husband left you for a white lady. And I said, no, my husband and I divorced. He married the woman he married a white Cuban 2 years later. I never said my husband left me for a white lady. And then they said, oh, well, that's what I heard. And that's what I thought it was. I didn't know that you had cheated. And I was like, okay, well, first of all, he didn't leave after we cheated. We went to therapy, went the whole nine. We lasted many years after the infidelity. But it's like they only wanted to know or to hear, hey, I was a victim. So it was so much to that fact. I said, you know, maybe that is something that attracts them to the white, as Paris would say, women, is that they're constantly catering to a victim mentality, and for some reason they have to see the woman as kind of like a victim to be a damsel. A damsel and a victim are two totally different things, but I think in their psychology, and a lot, I won't say all, I won't generalize, but a lot of black men's psychology, that goes one and the same. And so to need the protection, to need to have them be save a person, you know, that sort of thing. No, very too black woman.
You said super saver hoe?
I didn't say, I would never say, I didn't say save, I said the save a mentality.
Okay, so that's, as you see in my avatar, I'm wearing a Superman jacket.
Yes, I understand. You're caped up.
Yeah, so that's a natural thing for any man, especially a black man. But the thing is this, a man is automatically going to want to protect and save and honor and cherish his woman.
But that's what I'm saying. If you're talking about 20 years ago, like, you know, you want the honesty, but you're wanting the honesty from somebody that's 20 years old, where that's going to be harder for you to get. Because I think even as passionate Bliss fans tonight, like, I resonate with a lot of what you're saying. Like, when you get older, you just don't have the time to be doing that. What you see is what you see. What you see is what you get, and I'm going to give it to you immediately. Like, that's just the way I am. And even, you know, in my recent situation, which, you know, you pretty much are all aware of, you know, my family came back at me. Not the other person. They came back at me because they were like, you had no business telling him none of that. No, you didn't. You understand, not always the best.
Yes, the best policy.
Omission. They ain't gonna tell you everything. In my pre-world, that would have been that. But he's made whole things against you.
Now, women hold stuff against men. So
No, we don't even ask the question.
and then you get mad.
You know what, man?
Then you get mad when I ain't tell you.
You're talking to an exception. You're definitely talking to an exception because so recently, very recently, I had an exchange with, you know, someone, and I noticed we were talking, you know, pretty consistently, and so literally 5 days. So it was only been 5 days. I came out with the questions, and y'all ladies, y'all know the questions. Hey, what was your home life like? Hey, your children, what's your relationship with your children's mother? Da 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 da. That came out 5 days later. Can I tell you, the next day he was like, I don't think we're gonna work out. And I'm like, could it be? You know, because up until those questions, we were moving. Wait a minute, sir. Sir, I'm gonna call you after this because see, I knew you were gonna pull something. Sir, I'm gonna pull you up. I knew you were gonna pull it, sir.
You knew I was.
Sir, it was the way I did it. You don't even know the way I did it. I texted, sir.
You be extra sometimes. I keep telling you, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And it's
Sir, I text him. I wasn't talking to him. I text him. I text him from church, so I know my words were covered. Okay, they were covered and delivered with a seed. They were.
Lord, the Lord ain't tell you to text her in church.
that good-looking pastor came in.
No, there was no good-looking pastor. That is a nice old Pastor Murray is older and married. Sir, I want to give this question to the ladies at this point. Passionate Bliss, was I wrong for asking him these questions 5 days in?
No.
Should I ask him on the first day?
No. That's good. 5 days is good.
Do you think it's any coincidence that the next day he's telling me it ain't gonna work out?
Then that's good, because that's a good thing. He ain't wasting your time and you ain't wasting it. That's good.
Okay, and so my next part, so we do have a part B. The other day, actually last night, he did reach out to me via a social media app, and he was like telling me how much he missed me.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like we can't just go from that. Like, tell me what happened there. You understand?
Yeah.
I don't know how to now broach again that conversation. Tell me what happened with these questions. Because he didn't answer the questions. He just went to telling me that he missed me.
So you have to, for you to get a real answer from a man.
Now, in that case, I would say, oh, I missed you too. Where you been? What happened? And then he gets the question, and then the next day he get the same questions again.
Y'all telling the secrets because he might be listening
miss you too. Where you been? And then the very next day, them same questions.
Don't wait till the next day. Just don't hit on.
No, because he done been gone. He had 5 days and he been gone.
Saying the next day.
The next day.
The next time, maybe we should ask the question. I should ask the questions in person because then I know what it is. Because once you get up saying, "Oh, well, this ain't gonna work out,"
No, because the thing is
now I know what it is.
like you said that. It's two reasons. Either he's about some bull or he's embarrassed. He's about some bull or embarrassed of that situation. He ain't got it straight yet, or the way you said it. Because you can ask me.
Sir, I was in the church texting. It was covered. It was covered by the blood. I was in church.
Stop saying that. The Lord ain't told you to text in church, Courtney.
Your call is a pastor passionate. It was covered by the blood. I was sweet. I was like, I know you said that, you didn't talk to whatever. Is there a situation there? You don't have to go into detail, but just let me know if it's something repairable with time. I was very sweet with the tone, sir. Very sweet. I gave him my Michael B. Jordan voice, and you know that Michael B. Jordan voice is lace and honey.
Yeah, it's lethal. That Michael B. Jordan voice is just lethal.
Girl, I told him blasted.
Do you got a girlfriend, a friend with benefits, or a wife? He say no. I say, do your girlfriend know you ain't got a girlfriend? All the way you ask the question. No, I ain't got no. I was married. We divorced 5 years ago. Right now, I'm going back and forth to court about child support. And my nose, you was married, yeah. What county you was from? Oh, where you grew up? So I'm hitting out the clerk of the circuit court, whatever. I see the divorce. I see this case. You know your divorce case and your child support case number is the same. Oh yeah. It's an open case. It's an open case. I'm thinking the case was open because it was child support. The case was open because the divorce wasn't finalized. So you just kind of have to.
I'm very attracted to married women for some reason.
So you just have to ask questions like, listen, it's a whole bunch of women out there who don't mind dating
Separated men.
I'm not one of them.
They would tell me that I would tell soon you separate or we separated.
I say it's a lot of women out there that don't mind having casual sex. I'm not one of them. I'm just not one of them.
Do you think he said, oh, you know what, sis, I got a wife, I'm separated, I got a friends with benefits. No, he ain't said that. He had a wife and a whole mistress. So even though you ask the questions don't mean you're going to get the honest answers, and so therefore it makes no sense to ask those questions because you're entitled.
It does, but the thing is that you're gonna get.
You don't have to reveal everything about yourself immediately because you're not gonna get the same in return.
Well, you're gonna get. I mean, he may not tell you the truth, but you're gonna use your senses and you're gonna see and look for the signs. And if he,
Discernment.
yeah. And so, at the very least, and if the answer changes at any point, you know you're dealing with a liar, and that's you decide from there if you want to go.
The balls, they cannot keep the balls in the air for 3 months. So within that 3 months, it's gonna fall. And so in that 3-month period of time, if you want to keep you some reservations on the side, keep your reservations on the side because by 3 months, everything is start with itself.
I don't keep reservations, honey. That restaurant, I just have to let that restaurant know I'm not coming. I don't keep reservations. My thing is this. I just really feel like, and I've never been on a dating app. I don't do those type of things. I just feel as though what's for me is for me, and that's it. So if I'm in a relationship with someone, and that even if it's not because, of course, I haven't been physical in a relationship in years. But if I am even talking to someone, I talk to someone exclusively. And I haven't had a problem with overlapping. Yeah, I haven't had a problem with overlapping.
I feel you on that, and I really don't one time. But every time you know how the devil is. The minute you go to say I'm dating somebody, then all kind of two-legged tests come walking out. And you be like, no, I'm dating this one guy, so I'm just gonna stick with him. And then you say, you know what? I should have took them phone numbers. I should have took them. But I feel you when you say you don't date but one guy at a time, because I'm kind of like that myself. But there was a couple of situations where I said, you know what? I was being all faithful and just because I ain't had time but to stick to one guy. I should have took that phone number because then I wasted all that faithfulness on somebody who was undeserving.
But did you know he was undeserving at the time?
No, and I still did who I was because I didn't have the time to be dating multiple people.
But
And
this
that's really not my thing. And I feel you on that because if it's not you, it's not you.
Yeah, my thing is this: to say you want to be true to what you're offering. You want to be true to yourself and true to what you want to offer. And if they're not true to that, then that's somebody that number one, it'll be revealed to you, and number two, that's on them. That's not on you. Your conscience is clear. Your heart is clear because what you gave was pure, and that just goes to show that number one, it's going to come back on him, and number two, he'll regret it. He will miss you. He'll regret it.
Jokingly, I say that, but I understand the need to say, you know what, I'm just going to deal with this one person at a time. That's all I have time for. But you sure go back and think, you know what, I passed up a couple of potentials because of you. I should have took them couple of potentials, but I do understand what you're saying.
Them potentials, they'll come back.
I only have time for one at a time myself.
Yeah.
But I was just joking when I said that, but you still don't have to reveal everything immediately.
Yeah. Certain things I wouldn't reveal. A couple of things I can think of I will never reveal, because they got nothing to do with him. It's none of his business. But yeah, you don't. But for most things, I'm straight up front. But there's one thing I've done that I told one of my guy friends, and he was like, "What? You did that?" And he was like, and I knew after he said that, I would never tell another man that I did that to an ex. But and so that one I will never tell again. But yeah, but for the most part, anything else, yeah, for the most part. And asking somebody how many lovers they've had, that ain't none of your business.
Number. To know what that is, please subscribe to her channel and email her to know what that one thing is that she ain't never gonna tell. But y'all have been great. Y'all are keeping me rolling. I'm sorry I haven't been able to post them fast enough. But Sir Anthony Taylor says that Courtney Omega's voice is already liquid. Boy, that hits a little different. We gotta go down in a different tone for that Michael B. Jordan voice. Amen. And thank you. So Iron said that he is really enjoying the chat. He says, "Sir, you killing us up here. You killing us. You killing it. You killing it."
Where am I? I can't see myself.
And he said, "Instant intimacy leads to desperate disillusion." Sometimes
I don't know where I
I'm a
am.
quote person, and I might be butchering it, but I think she had this book called Daily Meditations for People of Color. It's like a little purple book. You can get it for like $2.50 from Amazon. And don't nobody got books no more, but I still got a couple because I bought a couple and gave away. Was one of her quotes. She said, "Instant intimacy leads to desperate disillusion," and it's not always sexual intimacy. And sometimes it's the mental and the psychological and the other stuff that overshare too fast is sometimes too much. And it's just one of the quotes that I like. And I think, he is.
Well, you know what? That's what I do love about being celibate. That does allow me to have that distance. Because I tell the gentleman this all the time. I say, until we physical, it really isn't.
Uh-oh. What happened? I fell out? Oh, did I fall off? Let me hit the link again. What did I fall off? Let me see. Let's see. Because I can't hear them anymore. Well, if that's the case, I'm gonna get a drink and use the restroom. Oops, 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 oops. I'm bumping my girl. Yes, you're bumping your girl. You're not messing with my steak and grits, are you? Okay, I see it. Are we still in here? I said bathroom break. Back. I was right. Okay, are we still going? Oh, I should have paused my camera, child. I was on a bathroom break and didn't pause my camera. It's blocked here. Refresh my browser. I can cut that out when I edit, yeah. Okay.
Funny, but no, I felt the same way that you felt, and I still feel that same way. I still feel that he was being honest. My ex-husband, I see him in situations where I still see him. He was, but you know, he said he didn't see that. He didn't see that. But what's funny is that he saw that in one of my co-teachers. I was a dance teacher, and he said that he was like, "Don't ever invite her over to this house again," because she tried to bust that split when I came in the door. Don't ever have her over here again. She's trying to get me caught up. But he saw that with her. But he was like, "No, this, you know, I didn't understand. I didn't see what's so funny in the situation." But I would love for us, because we are talking about black male. We're talking about black love and rebuilding those relationships, bridging those relationships. I would love for us to even either to one say what we learned from somebody else on the panel, or a myth that was debunked from somebody else on the panel or someone in the chat, or two, say that's something you're going to work on moving forward with healing black male, black female relationships. So, y'all, I was watching Fantasia's show with her husband today, so I'm on my tailor-made situation. So I'm really into this lovey-dovey mood, so y'all have to forgive me. But we're gonna start with you. I'm gonna see what happened to Cassie. She must be back. She's in backstage. Yeah, I had to bring her back up. So I'm gonna let her back up. But go ahead if you want to start to Cynthia, and then we're gonna go to, of course, Sir Senior, and then I'm gonna bring Passionate Bliss on so she can close us out tonight. Thank you guys so much.
I want to say that there is a black man that says he enjoys cooking. So maybe if he can convince a woman, I'm not trying to rape you, here's my criminal background, I ran it, and maybe I can cook for you, instead of having to take you out to a $200 dinner, that he would find a woman that appreciates that. Because I know she out there with a Fantasia body and color and a Topanga spirit.
Wow.
And Sir Senior, I see you on the chat, so it was nice to hear this side of you.
Thank you. Before I get into mine, I wanted to say, have y'all watched the Boondocks? Does anybody watch the Boondocks? Ever watch the Boondocks? Because there was an episode.
Yes, I've seen the Boondocks sometimes.
Yeah, the conversation. This conversation made me think of episode. I think it's episode 6 of season 2. Like, most definitely, if you watch it, then you'll understand what I'm saying. But I'm gonna leave that part as that. Just watch that episode. The episode 6, and then rewatch this on the playback, and then you'll understand what I'm saying. But yeah, I hope I can find that maybe not with a Fantasia body, but something like that, something like that, something like that. And salute to brother Anthony. He always comes in and supports, and even when he's busy, like how I be in the background, he always comes in and hit the like button and just drop some knowledge. I just want to say salute to everybody who was on the panel, especially Passionate Bliss for coming in and being a genuine self. Like, I really appreciate that. I've seen you like a bunch of times, but now I got to, see you being, a little more of you. And always, Courtney, I love you like a sister. And everybody who came in, like, we in this together, and we need to hear from each other and build with each other. One thing I took from this was I just appreciated everybody telling their stories and being open, and if the story was a little hurt, felt, or if it was heartfelt, it helps us see things in a different way, because sometimes we only see it from one side, and we need to see it from both sides, so we be able to, if not change ourselves, help other people, change. Every time it's not always something for us, sometimes it's something for somebody else. And what I'm gonna do to help, the black woman and the black male, relationships is try to be more and continue being more understanding and work on my communication and things of that nature. As I said, everybody be safe, be blessed, and be certain.
Can y'all hear me? Am I back? Full effect? 1 2 1 2 in the place to be. Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I have a couple of little notes. Just a little side note at the end for Tanwan. She was saying that black men didn't want black women because of their mouth. And what I want to say is that that is a side effect of being without our black men and having to assume a masculine role, because our black men haven't been there. When 72% of our children are being raised in a single parent home, they've had to develop a tougher skin. They've had to be, as Sir said, more masculine. They've had to take on that because they didn't have a choice. And what I want more than anything is for our black men to understand that. Please understand that. We were put into a masculine role that we were never designed to be in. And some of us have lost our mind, and we have forgotten how to talk to you. We have forgotten how to support you. We've forgotten how to love you. And I want to ask the black men to please be patient with us. And I want to ask the black women to please be patient with our black men. We were designed to be together. We are beautiful together. We are magic together. We are strong together. And let's don't forget that. Okay, Tanwan had said that she heard that black men didn't want black women anymore because of their mouth, and I want to address that just to briefly. We've had to get that mouth, because if you don't stand up for your family when you're head of household as a single mom, then they will crush you and they will crush your children. And one thing black women will not allow. We will not allow you to crush our children. And so we've had to take on that mouth and that masculine role. We haven't had a choice. And so I think I want to ask the black men to be understanding of that, even though you see it as masculine, to understand why she's coming at you saying, I'm strong, independent, and giving you that mouth. She didn't have a choice. But, I want to, because like somebody mentioned Fantasia. One thing Fantasia said, she said that when she met her husband, she used to mouth off to him and snap at him, and all this, come at him with all this stuff, and he would say, hey, I'm here now. You don't have to do all that anymore. And she relaxed into that role of submission, and she's very submissive when they're together. And I'll speak from personal experience. When I was dating, the guy I'm seeing now, I said, hey, you know what? He didn't call me on time like he was supposed to, and y'all know I go off on that. No, what you calling me for now? I thought it was over. You ain't talked to me in several days. I don't need you to call me now. I was prepared to sit on my couch alone with my martini for the rest of my days, so I don't need you to do it's. Oh, he was like, okay, I understand that you're upset that I didn't call you. That's a valid point. I'll fix that. But all that rah-rah wasn't necessary. This is what he said to me. And he said, calm down. Have you eaten dinner? I said, no, I have not eaten. He said, eat your dinner. And when you're done, I'm going to call you and I'm going to cam up, because it is a long distance relationship, which is tough. He said, I'm going to call you, I'm going to cam up, and we're going to spend the evening together. And I said, okay. And I was calm and I was diffused at that point. So I want to ask black men to please understand and please be patient. We have been through a lot without you. And some of us have lost our minds. And we've taken on a masculine image just to survive and just to take care of our kids. So I want to ask the black men to please be understanding and please be patient with these women who are coming off as masculine to you. Be patient and let her know. Straight up tell her, all that rah-rah ain't necessary. Fantasia's husband said, look, I'm here now. You don't have to do all that. So if you could just be patient, you know, we can heal. Okay? From that. Okay, and then these are the things that I've learned tonight. Courtney said, what have you learned? I have learned that Cynthia be lying to men, telling them she ain't seeing nobody when she is. And I also learned that she's a very gifted poet. I loved your poem tonight. And I'm going to write a poem to black men because of you, okay? I have learned that Sir is repping for the fellas. And that he is a sexy chocolate black man who is a cook, okay? And I have learned that Courtney be texting during the service. And I'm going to tell your pastor, girl, Courtney, I'm going to tell your pastor. Okay, I have learned that, this is my first time meeting my fellow moderators and talking to you guys, and I'm so happy to get to know you better and appreciate you better, and it was a pleasure to be here, and I thank you for having me here. I want to congratulate Courtney on her 1-year anniversary, and many more to you, and I just want to ask us all as black people, in our need to reconnect and our desire to reconnect, if we could just be honest, if we could just be patient, and we can just be willing to try, then there's nothing that we can't do, and we can do it together. Okay? And with that being said, y'all have sweet dreams. I wait to find them all real. And that is my closing, Miss Courtney. I'm back in the chat, okay?
Thank you so much again, Passionate, for coming on tonight, for doing what you do and being just the leader that you are. For everyone else, please stick around for a couple of seconds. What we're going to do is I'm going to load up some music, and I want you all, the stream will stay up so we can exchange information. Like I said, let's make a commitment to blowing up beyond the...
Mm-hmm.